So, we got the boy Sean Applegate in studio.
Applegate.
What up?
Legendary.
Yeah, dude. Some crazy shit.
Dude, I'm going to bring this up to Trey because this is a big deal to me. How did I have Sean on before you?
That's true.
I've been trying to get Trey on for a while, and he's like, man, you know, the way my schedule is. And I'm like, we live pretty much right down the street from you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm going to rub this one in a little bit.
Yeah, make sure you send in that picture.
Yeah, I'm going to be like, dude, it's crazy, you know?
Damn, that's crazy.
We're blowing up forgetting about you.
No, dude.
No, dude.
Yeah, dude, so Sean Applegate, you are like, I mean, Southeastern, just as far as I know. I don't know how high up you go, but like the genius of this corner of America, at least.
Damn.
Yeah.
He said,
Your reputation precedes yourself for sure. Like,
true.
you got a big footprint on the jiu-jitsu scene around here.
Yeah, like, I think, to be honest with you, dude, I think I just was the guy, like, who wanted to, like, be on the next, like, wave as jiu-jitsu was kind of innovating, you know?
Yeah.
And I think a lot of other guys were, like, I was just, like, the young guy, you know?
Okay.
It's like a lot of other guys were, like, probably, like, kind of retired and, like, already a little older and already had their gyms and stuff. So they're, like, already focused on what I got to focus on in the future, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
They're like, I got to build my family, grow my gym. I got to do my thing, bro.
Yeah.
And so for me, it was like, nah, I don't have to do any of that. I just got to live, dude. I just got to wake up every day and be fucking 23 or whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so, like, I could just go and travel and train and compete and just be on the next wave, you know? And then plus I also had, like, Eddie.
Yeah.
So, like, Eddie's thing is just always, like, if you're not evolving, you're dying, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's true, man.
And so Eddie, like, dude, while I'm focused on, like, Eddie's old shit, Eddie's like, what are you doing that's new? And I'm like, I mean, fuck, dude, everything's new.
Yeah, really.
Everything's new for me, dude. Fuck. So anyway, I think I was just the young guy. Like, sort of the Southeast is just kind of like old school jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Well, it is cool, too, being the young guy around a bunch of kind of older guys who have already found their shit, you know what I'm saying? Because you can learn, you know, obviously you can learn so much from them, but being in the position where you're surrounded by those kind of people, you know, gives you the opportunity to kind of catapult above, which,
Yeah,
you know,
for sure. Well, yeah, and
super
there's
important.
just no one else doing, like, there was just no one else doing it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, they were all the local guys who were just kind of like, oh, like, no gi? I'm like, yeah. And they're like, I guess, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, leg locks? I'm like, yeah. I guess.
Dude, that's still a big part of this area, at least, because like this is the only area I know for jiu-jitsu because it's like my career is here. But like I'll roll with a lot of people, and a lot of people just want to do like just gi class, or they want to focus primarily on gi. And it's like a few things physically since I'm getting older that are like I don't specifically want to do just gi. I mean, I do both, but like you don't have this issue probably because you do no gi so much. But my fucking fingers, dude, the tips of my fingers are like just going
from,
away,
like,
bro.
Yeah.
rubbing on
The,
gis
the
and shit,
grips,
gripping on.
like you don't think about gripping, and I never thought about that. I even thought like while I was actively doing it, and my finger grips were like going away. I was like, "What am I doing that's so new? That's shredding my fingers." And I never thought it was the gi. I just thought like, I don't know, maybe I'm nervous and chewing my fingers or something.
Yeah.
But dude, the gi grips like fuck your fingers up bad, dude.
Yeah, dude. So, like, I play guitar and shit, and I, like, started in jiu-jitsu, you know, like, I was like, bro, like, I don't know about this gi shit, dog. Like, I'm not gonna be able to, like, I know jiu-jitsu is not gonna last forever, right?
Yeah.
At some point in time, I'm gonna be old as fuck. I'm gonna be, like, trying to make peace with the fact that I can't, like, roll hard anymore, you know? And I don't know what that's gonna do to me with jiu-jitsu, so then I'm like, I at least want to be able to do my other shit,
Do something else,
Like,
yeah.
can I still play guitar? Like, fuck, can I still play Call of Duty, bro?
I see you getting big on that.
Well, I mean, dude, like, quarantine was crazy, you know?
Yeah.
The come up, dog.
So it was
Call
like,
of Duty come up, man.
in quarantine, we didn't have a lot of jiu-jitsu. But in Atlanta, we only had to take a few weeks off.
Yeah.
Like, Georgia just was, like, ignoring it. They were like, COVID's not real. You guys know that, right? Like, literally, our governor was like, dude, he came out, like, when the whole country had been locked down for months. Our governor did, like a press conference thing, and he was like, so I just found out today. And, like, literally, he's just like, yo, he was just like, fucking, like.
He goes, what's it called?
I'm about to drop a truth bomb on you guys. You guys didn't know shit. You gotta change the game. He was just like,
gotta change the game.
that you can have COVID and not have symptoms. And it was just like,
Oh, shit.
He drops the mic and walks away.
all of Georgia was just like, oh, I'm fucking panicked. But then it was like, bro, the rest of the world has known this for like fucking months, dude. Like, and they were making fun of him. I just see like these pictures and memes and shit, you know?
Oh, dude.
So our governor was just like, oh, we're not closing the state down, dude. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like that's how our governor is now, dude. Because
Yeah.
our governor is like, nah, I don't believe in it.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
now he's like, with this whole second wave thing, he's like, nah, we're not going to do anything. Everybody's just like completely ruining his life over it, you know?
Yeah.
Dude, and that's
Florida's
the crazy part for those guys, dude, because you got to think, man, like, imagine, like, however you guys feel about it, you'd have to get up there in front of, like, your state, and there's no matter how you feel about it, there's people in your state that feel the opposite.
100%.
No matter how
Also,
you feel.
people
Yeah.
that back your cause, you have to.
There's no middle
If you're
ground
riding
with any
that
of this.
wave, you have to be like, yeah, you know, it does exist
Yeah,
because
yeah,
they pay me the money to say,
and
or it
then-
doesn't because they pay me. the
Yeah,
money.
imagine if you got people paying you to say it doesn't exist, and you're
Yeah.
like, boys, are you sure
Wait,
you want to go
here's
down
the
this
thing.
road? dude?
Here's the
Like,
thing, though.
Yeah.
Have you guys
Let
seen
me
what
tell
they're
you.
doing to this guy? Like, they're like,
you want to
nah.
see a dead body?
Just shows a meme of the Georgia governor. Look, this is what can happen.
Dude.
Yeah.
There's some pretty funny videos of that dude on the internet to do with COVID. Like, that's all I'll say. But they, yeah. So he pretty much ignored it, dude. So we were back to training quick.
Yeah.
But when you couldn't train and do all that other stuff, what are you gonna do, man? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sit at your house. You can't really leave your house and do anything.
Yeah.
So I was like, fuck. I was just playing Call of Duty, and then I met like a homie from the UK that was like top 30, like on like Warzone. He was like top 30.
Oh wow.
And
Like, of all the people.
yeah, like of everyone.
That's typically what
Yeah.
top
Like
30.
everybody.
Of,
Well,
like,
I guess.
of like the millions of people
Yeah,
that play
yeah.
the game. And like, so I just randomly met this guy while we were playing, and I started playing with him a lot. And like, I started just kind of learning a lot of stuff from him, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And Warzone's like a particularly stressful kind of team based game. So you have to like be good, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, all right, I'm learning a lot. And then he was like, you should try like doing some tournaments, dude. Like, went to play some tournaments. I was like, sick. So I played a few tournaments. We were winning tournaments. I was like, damn. And then I got picked up by a team. I played with them for a little while.
Damn.
And I was like, this is sick. But then when we went back to jiu-jitsu,
Yeah.
I was like, oh shit, that's right. Like,
Yeah.
I have this whole life over here that's back now. Like,
Yeah.
it's kind of like your girl leaves town for like a weekend, and you're just like, damn, you're just chilling. You know what I mean? And then
Yeah.
she comes back on Sunday, and you're like, oh,
I gotta
fuck.
pick up.
The house
Man.
is just destroyed, dude.
Yeah,
Jesus
like
Christ. What have I done? What have
you're
been
like I had
doing?
people over because
Yeah.
I didn't make this mess.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
right,
I
dude.
must
Yeah,
have.
like-
And you instantly realize that your lifestyle has to change.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's a recently adopted lifestyle, but
Yeah.
it's gotta go, dude.
that's why.
Tori left once, dude, and I fucking spent 3 days in my house. I bought one double XL pizza from this pizza spot. They make like 20-inch pizzas or whatever,
fuck.
big ass
Yeah.
pizzas. I was like, all right. So I bought one, and I spent 3 days carrying that thing around with me in the house.
That
That's
was
what
the
I did
whole
for
3 days, huh?
Yeah, I stayed home for 3 days. I just went around my house with this box, dude. It was. I went to sleep on the couch, and I was on the couch, dude. I woke up
You
the next
you
day.
covered it with a blanket. You're like,
Yeah,
it's
dude.
okay,
The
baby.
next day, I seriously woke up and I like looked over and there it was, and I was like, "Oh shit!" And I just like opened it.
Fuck, I forgot about that.
Yeah,
I'll take
dude.
a piece though.
And like dude, she was coming home and like I was just there like chilling watching TV, and I was like, "Oh man, she can't see any of this."
She can't know about that pizza.
You can't get the box out of the door. You're like, how the fuck they get this thing in here?
Oh, it didn't even fit in the fridge. That's why I didn't put it in there.
Oh
The
wow.
box didn't fit,
That's
so
why
I
I
was like,
walked around with it for
I was
3
like,
days.
Yeah, I was like, I guess you're with me,
Oh,
buddy, for
no.
the next 3 days, dude.
It's me and you.
Attached at the hip.
Yeah, man. So that was Call of Duty and Jiu-Jitsu. It was like, all right, well, I was real competitive with it then. When I had to go back to Jiu-Jitsu, dude, you can't be like on that with that thing. You can't be like part-time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's a whole ass thing, huh?
Yeah, dude. So
Yeah.
I kind of fell off of it a little bit, and I just started like streaming a little bit. 'Cause you can stream part-time, right?
Yeah.
Because it's not like scheduled. You don't have to like compete and shit. you
Right.
know?
Yeah.
So I did that, and then then back to Jiu-Jitsu, dude. COVID was crazy.
Yeah. I mean, your results speak for themselves as far as like taking it serious.
Sure.
I mean, everything your team has a part in, I mean, their success, whether it's like a complete victory or not, like just like you have lower level people competing in brackets above them and winning them like on a routinely basis. Like,
yeah, man, it's crazy to be honest. Like the training, it's like a lot to do with the methodology. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
How you train, but it's also like I think like we appeal to like a younger demographic, right?
Yeah.
Like you don't see a lot of older guys like training our gym, you know.
Yeah.
But like, so it's a bunch of young guys, and then like they're looking at like me and Chase and Josh and all these other guys are like, oh, so these are the guys I'm supposed to be like.
Yeah.
And so like, well, they compete, I want to compete. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so then they want to compete and they want to go, and then yeah, it's just how it is. Even like in Atlanta, dude. Like even in Atlanta, like we pretty much like just took over no-gi after a couple years. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so it's just like, well, I mean, when you go to these schools that are supposed to be really competitive, go to like Alliance HQ.
Yeah.
There are like 5 or 6 dudes over here that are really competitive. They're trained to be good, and then it's just a bunch of like hobbyist type folks, and they're just like catering to that, you know?
Right.
Like, 'cause that's where the money's at. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And like
It's
I
the
understand
mass
that
of
and
people.
kids.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Kid teams like.
So that's what they do. They put all their energy into that, but we just don't.
Yeah.
So I've just never like my philosophy on like running a school or having a gym environment has always just been like I really only want the people that want to be a part of it to be there. Like if you don't really want to be there, like I don't necessarily want you there. You know what I mean?
I'm not gonna make you be here if you don't want to be here.
No.
Yeah.
So like when people want to leave, like you say, like, oh, I'm gonna go train at this other gym. That's cool, man. Like I've never had a falling out with a student because they wanted to go train somewhere else. Because from my perspective, it's just like, well, great, man. Like, you know, what am I supposed to do? Nah, man. You don't want to be here? You need to show up anyway.
Yeah.
The fuck? What are you gonna tell people, dude?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So it just, as you go through that course with that methodology, like you just end up with this group of people that all like kind of, you know, want to be there.
Because they don't feel needless pressure.
Right.
They feel like applied pressure in the right ways. Like, hey, I want you to be good because you want to be good. So I'm reflecting your goals.
That's a very fine line of like pushing somebody to the point where they can, you know, where they know it's good for them. You know what I'm saying? Finding that place where they know you're you know, giving them shit and pushing them harder because you know they can do it, and they, you know.
And it's wild you're still such a young guy, but like I look up to all my coaches, whether they're my age or younger than me, as like father figures in a way because they're molding me in a way that they know more than I do in this like area, and I have to grow here, and like they have the knowledge that they're feeding me. Like this is a better way than what you're doing. Like in a way, yeah, you're like a dad to them. Mm-hmm. If that makes any sense. That's like weird, but
it's cool. That's what it is. You have mentors, you know what I'm saying? You have mentors.
Or mentors is a better way, yeah.
Right. And I think like as like a coach, right, you have like the 3 like layers, right? Like you have like the instructor, you know, you have the mentor, right? And then like the coach. So there's 3 layers to that, you know? And like I've never really met anyone that was like great at all 3 of them, you know? Usually guys, like the best guys, the guys are like, oh my God, this guy's amazing, is really good at 2 of them.
Okay.
But usually sucks at the 3rd one, right?
Yeah.
So like for me, like instructor, coach, I got that all day. Mentor, dude, I'm way too young to be telling people how to live their lives. You know what I'm saying? Which is why I don't. Like if you, man, like, oh man, I got to take a week off. I got to go do this. Whatever, man.
Yeah.
I'm not the guy that calls you and goes like, hey, where the fuck are you, dude? You know what I mean? Like, I assume some shit happened, bro, because shit happens, you know? Like, whatever.
Yeah. You're still going through some shit, so you know other people are going through shit. You know?
And, like, it's, like, how am I going to be, like, my age and then, like, tell, like, because then, like, what happens when you end up with those dudes in your gym that are, like, older than you and they're, like, have their lives more together than you do? And they're, like, asking you for advice and you're like, listen, bro.
Here's the thing.
I don't know anything.
Yeah. I don't know.
I'm driving blind, dude.
Yeah. I don't know what I said to make you think I knew.
Yeah.
I just spent 3 days with a pizza, dude. I don't.
Dude, see, and that's the thing is, it's like if you could see me when I'm not here,
you would not be.
This is
me
the
these
peak of
questions right
my
now.
performance. It's here.
I'm literally peaking right now. So that's like the thing, bro. Is I just think with like jiu-jitsu, like anyone can become an instructor, right?
Yeah.
I think a lot of guys don't really take that serious. They're just like, yeah, I'll be an instructor. I'll show you guys some moves.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, sick, dude. But they don't like care to be good at it. They're just like, Sometimes you'll hear guys say, I need to be the best instructor I can be. And then you're like, okay, well, yeah, that makes sense. But then they're like, just showing moves when you go to class. You know, they don't have any more information than that, or they don't go to the tournaments to coach the guys, or they give people grief for like wanting to train at other schools and cross training and whatever. And I'm just like, man, you guys are just falling into all like the little pitfalls of like being a coach and all the little ego trips and little problems, you know, because there's a lot of like self-reflection, you know, when a student comes to you and this is your school and like you built this and this is your life, and they go, man, I think I want to train at this other school. Man, like you can either like take that like on the jaw and be like, oh, my pride, fuck, you know what I mean? Or you can go, this wasn't about me at all.
Yeah.
You know
Exactly.
what I'm saying? Like, this literally this dude's life. Like,
yeah. It's a very tough thing to accept, you know. I think in my line of work too, like I work in a restaurant in downtown, and my goal at the end of the day is to own my own restaurant, run my own restaurant. And I've been working for the same chef for 6 years now.
And it's a nice restaurant, so just to give you some, it's like one of the nicer ones downtown. It's not just like McDonald's.
Yeah, it's like one of the
I didn't assume
first or second.
called
It's
a
like
guy
the
chef at
yeah.
McDonald's.
I've had some people think they're doing some big
with
shit.
The same chef at McDonald's for 6 years.
You know, like that fry line don't move without me.
Yeah, dog. Yeah, real
Yo.
dog. 50-piece nugget, baby. But like, you know, it's a weird thing because it's like, at some point I know I'm gonna have to move and learn from somebody else, you know. And it's like he was the one who kind of took me under the wing per se, and like taught me all the kind of shit. And we've talked about, you know, making the move for a better of my career, because at the end of the day it is my life and what I want to do, you know. Yeah. So it's like, but it's also, I couldn't imagine being in his position of like trying to putting time and like trying to help me out, and then one day having to say, you know, no, that's cool. Go do what you need to do.
But
type thing, you know.
Eventually, you will.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Like eventually, you'll see
point,
his side.
I'll be in
and
that
be like,
in that
damn.
position, you know.
Yeah.
But even in my head now, it's like this is for the better of not only me, or not for me, but for the or the restaurant industry, you know, like
a big part of like what would happen when you leave.
Yeah.
Is a big part of like how when people leave you is like it self reflects off y'all because of, or I guess him and like your head chef.
Yeah.
Like it shows the products, like this is what I instilled in them, and then this is what they went and did. Like look how big they got.
Right.
Like, or look how successful, even if it's not in jiu-jitsu or cooking, they became successful people.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, I think like the tough thing with like jiu-jitsu that goes like a layer beyond what we're even talking about though is that like even when dudes are like good and they're like at the top level, they still train at a place and like they still have a coach, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so I think like, yeah, like for you, like you done with your thing, like, all right, I'm gonna go do this restaurant, and they're like, sick, dude, good luck, you know what I mean? But that guy doesn't have to like take the hit of like you being like, well, yeah, he's gonna go do his own thing, but he's also still got to be like under someone else. You know what I mean? You're still choosing to be under someone. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
Whereas like in jiu-jitsu, they're always choosing that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like even if they're like black belts and they're going off to go do whatever, you go join this gym. You're still gonna go join a team. You're still gonna have another coach. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And one of the things I think that's really toxic in the community is guys that ride like people's coattails to like blow themselves up. So there's a lot of guys out there, dude, that like never did anything competitively.
Yeah.
And so they start like pushing their students to compete, and then every time their students win, like you will always notice it because it'll almost be like their students are like billboards. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they're using that as a platform.
Every time I see that, I'm just like, man, this is going to end terribly. Like, you know what I mean? Because eventually that guy wakes up and realizes what's going on and goes, what the fuck? And then that other guy, you know, in order to constantly make sure that he's getting the credit, he has to be super toxic with that guy. Like, it has to always be, hey, make sure you wear the school, whatever. Make sure you have this. Make sure you have that. And, like, I'm not trying to say that those guys are wrong for trying to get their students to wear the school rash guard when they compete and stuff. Right. But like sometimes it's like their name too. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like sometimes it'll be like so and so's name on the back of their rash guard, and it's not even like the school or something. You know what I mean? Yikes. And I'll be like,
okay. That's also the same kind of coach or instructor or mentor that we're talking about. That's like pressuring you to be there every fucking day and doing, you know.
See, I feel like the reason I'm so like in the understanding of what you're going through, or like how you're explaining that, is like that my first gym was like that.
Oh yeah.
Real bad. Like, hey, you can only compete once a year at the tournament, I say, wearing what we say you wear. Other than that, don't come to me. And we had a kid that asked the dude, like, hey, I want to compete at this like tournament that's coming through, and I know it's not like our whole school's going, but I want to, so I do better when we all compete. And he's like, don't come with me don't come to me with questions like that again. Like, you'll be kicked out. It was like, what?
That's,
yeah.
It just didn't make sense. And he would like, it's a difference between pushing somebody and like bullying somebody, but he would bully certain students. Like, I don't know what the financials was behind them. I don't know if like they had more money. So he would like bully them to be like, you need me.
Yeah.
But he would do shit like that and would leave them like, I remember him sparring with a girl and like almost knocking the girl out and like bullying her like verbally afterwards. Like, you'd be nothing without me. Like, you can never be a pro. Like, you'd be nothing without all the things that I'm instilling in you now. Like,
what the fuck?
Yeah, and she ultimately ended her like membership there and went with Trey's, but then moved. So I mean, she left the whole area completely. But like, just seeing that, I'm like, I hate that I started at a gym like that, but I'm so glad like I saw that so early.
Yeah.
Because like I was like rose-colored glasses at first because I didn't know. I was like, oh, this is just jujitsu.
Yeah.
And then I was like,
and you're like in love with
some of this isn't adding up, but maybe it's just jujitsu.
Yeah, you're like still in love with it. Like,
I wonder how many people. Yeah, I wonder how many people get like never get past that and just think, oh, that's just jujitsu, dude. Don't get into jujitsu because of that. It's a fucking cult over there, dude.
Yeah, so that's one of the big problems. Like when I started training, I started at this MMA gym, right? And there was no jujitsu. Like there was jujitsu. There was a guy who was a brown belt, but that guy like was weird. Like when I met him, he was weird, and like the vibes were off for sure, dude. And I was like, nah, I don't know about this spot. And then that dude ended up going to jail a couple years later for like being like a pedophile. You know what I mean?
What?
And so nailed that one. I was fucking out of there, dude.
Holy
like I didn't even know. I
shit.
didn't even see any of that shit when I was there. I just met the guy, and I was like, I don't know, this guy's greasy. Like I don't know what the fuck's up with this guy.
Something's going on here, man.
The vibes are down in the school. Like I'm out of here. So I bailed, and then it found out later. So I was like, sick, good play on that. But the place I found, I can't say, like, I would like to be able to say wasn't much better, but that guy wasn't like a pedophile, so thankfully that wasn't the case. But yeah, I know, right? Like, because it's just different levels. But pretty bad though. I ended up at this other place, and this guy had a jiu-jitsu coach there, right? And I had tried jiu-jitsu with like Brandon McCatherine in Decatur.
Yeah,
I just tried it there. Like I had not really like taken classes or anything. We rolled. I was out of class, whatever. I was like, I got to do this jiu-jitsu shit. So I go there, and one of my like childhood best friends goes there at the same time, right? And he was like trying to get into it, and they're like, yeah, you got this jiu-jitsu coach, and the guy's like selling me, dude. He's just like, yeah, bro, like this guy, he's like, he's not a black belt, but like, man, I've seen him tap black belts and shit, and like he's just, he's just been training a long time, blah blah blah, and like, dude, I'm new to all this shit, so I'm like, oh, word. Like I just got like the inside track, you know what I'm saying?
This is your best friend telling you this?
No.
Oh, okay, this is
the guy who owns the gym, right?
Oh, okay.
Telling me this shit. And the gym was inside of like this little sports complex. It was in Foley at the time, and it was like they had like this loft, and the loft was probably like 900 square feet maybe. So it was like not the smallest little area, but not big at all. And they had mats up there, and that was like their little bag, that's where they ran their thing. So I was like, all right, cool, whatever. So I go up there to train, and I roll with this guy. And I fucking heel hooked him. And I learned to heel hook on YouTube. I watched YouTube, like, cause you know what you do when you first started. You know exactly what I'm saying. You're like a junkie on YouTube. You're just fucking downloading information like Keanu in the Matrix, son. You're just like, yo, I'm about to learn everything. Like I was
locked
just watching,
and loaded, dude.
I was watching hella jiu-jitsu, dude. And I learned to heel hook on fucking YouTube. And I was like, all right, word. So I'm rolling with this guy, and I see his leg. And I'm just like, I remember this move, and I just fucking grabbed his shit, and I like shredded this dude's shit, dude, because I didn't know what I was doing.
Yeah,
I didn't know what I was doing, dude. And I just grabbed his shit, just like shredded his shit, and he was just like, he tapped, and then he was all pissed off about it, and I was like, man, I'm sorry, dude. And then you got hurt or whatever, and he's like, yeah. A week later, dude, they go to some fights in Biloxi, and they come back. I come to training after the fights, and I'm like, hey, what's up with jiu-jitsu class? The guy's not here. And they're like, oh, dude, listen, we went to Biloxi. He went with us. We saw him Saturday at the fights, and then we couldn't find him for the rest of the weekend. Eventually, we had to come back. We just couldn't find him.
What?
And I was like, whoa, dude. He's like, and they're like laughing. They're kind of like, oh, yeah, he probably met some girls, blah, blah, whatever. And I was like, I guess, dude, I'm just here to do jiu-jitsu, like, whatever. Yeah. So me and my buddy Chase, it's not Chase Hanna, it's a different Chase. He was my first blue belt, actually, one of my childhood friends.
Gatlin?
No. Okay. His name was Chase Kendrick.
Dude, you are, like, Chases are attracted to you, dude.
They were all three there at the same time.
What the fuck?
It was super fucking
Why you got
weird.
so many Chases?
We started giving them nicknames. We had to give them nicknames. Like, they had
Is that
nicknames.
how Red got Red?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What was Chase?
Chase Kendrick was just Chase.
Okay.
Then Chase Hanna was there. We just called him Chase Hanna. Literally everyone calls him Chase Hanna just by his full name. Like, literally. Yeah, it's weird how it happens. Like because I was like, we got to give Chase Hanna a nickname, and they were like, well, we just call him Chase Hanna, and I was like, fucking leave it at that. Then you got 2 first names, we'll just let that ride, like you know. So he's Chase Hanna, you know what I mean? But Chase Kendrick was there with me at the time. Chase Hanna was there too, but he was like a kid. He was like 14. He was like 240 pounds, like just like a little balloon, you know. He wasn't really taking it serious at the time, and but anyway, this guy, like, nowhere to be found, bro. So I was like, fuck it. Me and Chase will just roll. So we just roll and train, whatever. Wednesday comes around.
And you're still a white belt at this time? And Hannah's like,
but we're in that
obviously
fog,
white.
dude. We're like in that fog, like that you talk about, like where we don't know what jiu-jitsu is. We don't know what a good gym is supposed to be. Like we think this is normal. Like and the guy that was running it, the owner, was like super slick, like used car salesman type cat. Like he was just like, yeah, man, like it's fucking what. And you're like, yeah.
He would always say things like, man, you're strong. You're strong for your size, bro. I heard that a lot in that gym. Was like, dude, you're gorilla strong. He would call me gorilla, and I'm like, fucking
yeah, dude.
I'd be walking around Walmart like, don't fuck with me, dude.
My jiu-jitsu coach said I'm strong, dude. My mom said I'm special, so fuck you guys.
I don't want none of this, boy.
Dude,
that's right.
It's the same shit, kind of. But anyways, yeah. So that shit went down, and like Wednesday rolls around, and like this truck pulls up in the front, and this dude gets out of the bed of the truck and comes in. It's the jiu-jitsu coach.
Wait.
Out of the bed of the truck?
Bed of the truck?
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
Hops out of the bed of the truck. Like
Doors
he just
didn't work. Just
straight up rode in the back of the truck, like. For sure on some drifter type shit. So he gets out and comes into the gym.
He's got a guitar and a jacket that's all tattered. Like,
so we're like, yo, what the fuck? And then like we're on that loft, so we're like kind of looking down, and he's coming in, and the owner dude like goes down there, and like they start talking or whatever, and like essentially the owner tells him like, get the fuck out, whatever. So the guy leaves, and he comes back, and I'm like, yo, like, that the guy, right? And
yeah.
He's just like, oh, we would like. You know, he's like, he's got some drug problems, man. Like, he's got to get his shit straightened out. You know what I mean? That's what happened while he was gone for like 3 days. You know, and I told him, like, we had classes for 3 days. You want to hear it, bro? Like, we can't do this. So I had to fire him. I had to let him go. And I was like, well, damn, what are you guys going to do about jiu-jitsu now? Like, I'm just here for jiu-jitsu. I don't care about this other shit, you know?
Yeah.
And he was just like, I don't know, dude. And like the next day he calls me and he's like, man, do you think you could be the jiu-jitsu coach? And I was like,
what
no.
the fuck, dude?
What year was this?
This was 2011. Maybe.
And this was like a couple weeks into your.
Yeah, I would not been training very long at all, like consistently.
And it's still in Foley? Or this happened in Foley, you mean?
This happened in Foley, yeah.
Wow.
So that happened, and then I contacted Brandon because I was like, well, I don't really know what to do because there's no jiu-jitsu here, dude. Mm-hmm. And there were the guys in Mobile, like Bobby Rivers and those guys, the Mobile guys. So, but like they were training at Jimmy Mills' gym at Port City. And I don't know how well you guys know that Jimmy Mills fucking hates 10th Planet. Like, hates 10th Planet. Hates Eddie. Hates all that shit. So, like, they were training there. And they were, like, his 2 best competitors, Scott and Bobby. And they were doing all this 10th Planet shit. And he fucking hated it, dude. He was just like, nah, man, fuck that shit.
Why is there... What's the... Is it just...
It's a lot of ego stuff.
It's some weird shit.
Yeah, really? You know what's weird? Is, like, as much as we like all the 10th Planet dudes, a lot of people don't like 10th Planet dudes just because of leg locks. They're just like, well... I mean, you can speak a little better to this than I can, but like leg locks to traditional jiu-jitsu practitioners is like a dirty move.
It's like a untold or like an unwritten rule type thing.
Yeah, and on top of that, traditional jiu-jitsu is gi.
Right.
So it's like, one, he's not doing traditional jiu-jitsu to them.
Yeah.
2, he's attacking legs, which you can't do a lot of in gi.
Okay.
So it's a lot of like, he's doing what you shouldn't be doing.
Yeah.
Like, why the fuck are you doing that? You don't respect jiu-jitsu. We don't like you.
It's like they're losing to it, and it pisses them off. You
know
what I mean? And they refuse to grow.
But what it really is, in my opinion, is he's not doing. I mean, it is jiu-jitsu, so it is the same sport, but it's a different type of that same sport. So it's like if you did vert and you did street on skateboarding, how can you hate on somebody on vert?
Yeah.
If you don't do it, like, don't hate on them. That's a different avenue. Like, you know?
Yeah, or even just like fucking just like parking then like guys that just do ledges. You know
yeah,
I mean?
exactly.
Like, you know, like I knew when I was skating, dude, I knew hella dudes that were like just trying to be like ledge killers, dude, and like all the fucking dudes, like all the homies would just hate on them. They'd be like, look at this fucking nerd, dude.
But they can't land any of the shit that they're doing.
But it's like, this dude's like doing flip in, flip out. What are you guys doing, you know?
Yeah.
Like, oh, you board us an 8th stair rail? Cool. Well, that guy's fucking progressing, dude.
Yeah.
You know, you're still doing board slides, you know? Just adding a step here and there, you know what I mean? Like, so it was like some hater shit, you know?
Yeah.
And it was like respect, you know, whatever, do whatever you want. But like, they're on some hater shit. You know?
Yeah,
like
but
that.
what's wild is I never hear anybody say, or I never hear you say shit about other people.
Yeah.
I hear a lot of people be like, "Oh, that's a 10th Planet kid" or something,
Yeah.
or like, it's like it's so one-sided.
Yeah.
So it's like it's crazy how one-sided hatred or one-sided like beef can keep going.
Yeah.
But it's like I never hear you talk shit. I just hear you talk about technique or like.
Yeah, that's why it keeps going though, because
Yeah.
no one checks them because
Yeah.
no one cares, you know.
Yeah.
Like, dude, like you know how like goofy you sound, like if you're like one of those guys, you know what I mean? Like when you're like, yeah, dude, like so yesterday, 5 of my students competed at this tournament. How they do? Man, they all lost, but
It's the 10th Planet.
Yeah.
they got fucking leg locked by those 10th Planet guys. You know, all they can do is heel hooks, and it's like, damn, dude, your guys lost.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just pause for a long time and just look at them.
Fuck, dude, you know. And they're like, oh no, I'm not gonna get, you know. So it all comes back to that type of hater shit, you know. But like this guy this guy they were training with was like that, you know. Even though they were his best competitors, and they weren't really leg locking a lot of guys. They were just doing rubber guard and shit, you know.
Yeah.
He hated that shit. So I went over to train with them one time because I was like, maybe I just need to drive over here, like Mobile, you know. I didn't really want to go to Mobile. I'm not like a huge fan of Mobile, you know what I mean? But it's like, fuck it, I'll go.
So what level were they at this time?
Bobby was a purple and Scott was a blue.
Okay.
So like, you know, and I was a white belt, so I'm like, fucking, they're both bigger than me, better than me. I'm trying to go train. The first time I went over there, dude, they were like, yeah, you guys can roll. We're rolling. I try to ask Bobby a few questions about technique, and the guy literally is just like, hey, stop talking, go roll over here, and like puts me with someone else.
Dude, that's exactly how ASR was.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
What is that?
It's just like he just didn't want that like to happen. You know what I mean? Like he was like, I don't want them doing that shit.
It's like they are afraid their gym is gonna get undermined.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I know better. No, like, what if I didn't hear something that Sean taught, and I'm like, where does the hand go? Do you remember? Like, I don't remember the grip. And then all the dude is telling me was like, oh yeah, he said the grip goes here. And then you're like, hey, y'all can't roll together. No.
Yeah.
Dude, I didn't hear the technique. And if I asked you, then ASR, like Alex used to be like, you can't ask. Like, you listen, you should have been paying attention, move on.
Yeah, it's.
I'm like, it's so toxic.
Then that's what it was with like that guy. So I was like, well, fuck it, I'm not coming over here. I'm not gonna drive an hour to deal with that.
Yeah.
Because like they deal with it or whatever, and that's fine. But maybe there's better people than me. This shit's just crazy. You know what I'm saying? So I'm out. So I talked to Brandon, and Brandon said, dude, you know what? Like, just train at that MMA gym and study like all the techniques and shit you're already kind of doing, and then just go there and show them all the shit that you're looking at and you're studying. Like, be transparent. Be like, yeah, I was like studying Eddie's like book, and this is what I'm working on, and just show it to them. You know, don't try to like go in and be the guy that's like, yeah, man, like these are my moves, dude, or like, you know, try to be the man or act like you know. Just be transparent, and then maybe one day you'll get good enough, and you can like open a school or something, you know. And I was like, all right, man, well, here's the deal, because like I was uncomfortable with that even. So I was like, here's the deal, I got to get you to come down every other month and do like a seminar or something, make sure I'm on the right track. And then on the months that you don't come down, I'll come to you for a weekend and train with you. And then I'm just going to compete like crazy in between, right? And he was just like, all right, cool, that's what's up. And so I did that for a year. And then Brandon came down and gave him my blue belt, you know? And I was like, damn, I did it. I'm a blue belt. Like, you know, I was never supposed to get a blue belt, dude. I have a coach, you know? And then I went to LA and trained with Eddie. I'd already gone once to train with Eddie with Brandon, you know?
Okay.
Yeah.
But I went to LA to train with him as a blue belt, and I did the Gracie Worlds tournament in LA as a blue belt, and I subbed everyone. And it was like leg locks. It was like leg locks, though.
Wow.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I was doing like some crazy shit that I didn't know was crazy shit. You know what I mean? And
before you go on, like at any point when you were coming up, were you ever gi at all?
No.
No. Okay.
No.
And so this time period when when the dude got fired after the Biloxi thing is kind of when you started following the 10th Planet stuff. Is that kind of when you got into Eddie's book and stuff like that, or was that always
Talk to
thing?
Brennan, right?
Yeah. So yeah, the guy Brandon I was talking about that I tried jiu-jitsu with is a 10th Planet guy. So I tried 10th Planet. So this is a funny fucking piece of the story, but so you guys know other martial arts, there are like variations, right?
Yeah.
Like karate's got like 40, you know?
Yeah,
Like whatever. So you can walk into a karate school, like the school that Josh and them are in.
Yeah,
both
wheels.
shores, right?
Yeah.
So you walk into a karate school and you could just see a bunch of kids like doing little katas and whatever. Or you can walk into a karate school like wheels and see like some dude getting his head blown off by like a roundhouse kick. You know what I mean? Like it's like there's different types of karate.
There's levels to this shit.
For sure. Like, you know, there's Stephen Thompson karate and there's fucking, you know,
Steven Seagal karate.
Yeah, right. yeah, got good. That was perfect. So anyway, there's different types of martial arts. So I had already been into martial arts prior to that. So I went to Brandon, experienced jiu-jitsu, and was like, oh shit, this is crazy. But it was 10th planet, it was no gi, right? So then I go to this guy's school, the pedo guy that got caught. Mm-hmm. They were in the gi. So I walk in immediately and I see the gi and I was just like, oh, this is some other shit. This ain't jiu-jitsu.
Like, this is some karate shit. What was going on?
I was like, they're on some other shit. This is like some different kind of jiu-jitsu. This ain't the shit that like I saw up there, you know?
Yeah.
I see like grabbing the clothes and shit. I was like, nah. And I called Brandon. I was like, yo, I tried that jiu-jitsu school. And he was just like, what'd you think, man? I was like, well, it's not really like jiu-jitsu, right? Like some kind of other jiu-jitsu. And he's like, oh, is it like Japanese jiu-jitsu? And I was like, I don't know, maybe. They were wearing like a uniform and shit. And he was like, oh, nah, like they're doing jiu-jitsu. We're the weirdos. We're the ones that don't.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, shit.
Oh, wait.
And then, so no, I was never like in the gi. That was like my little introduction to the gi. I was so foreign to it. Like I'd only known this that like when I walked in, I literally doubted them. Like I was just like, nah, y'all on some bullshit out here. I gotta get out of here, dude.
Some of all these
I can't
fucking,
take y'all serious. Look at y'all.
You guys got smocks on. What's going on here, dude?
Yeah. I mean, think about it, dude. Think if you're like watching MMA and you try jiu-jitsu and it's at like a no-gi only school, right? Which looks like MMA. They're just not punching each other. And then you walk into some school and they're like, this is the real jiu-jitsu. And they're like in uniforms, like grabbing them and shit. You'd look at that and you'd go, I don't know, dog. What the fuck is this?
This ain't it, homie.
Nah, that ain't the one. So that's what happened with them. And so I never was in the gi, man.
But you were in California, you said, for the second time.
Yeah.
Seeing Eddie.
Yeah, and I won that tournament. I won Gracie Worlds at Blue Belt, right?
Which is wild.
And Gracie Worlds was an insane tournament. You could only win a gold at Gracie Worlds by submitting everyone. If you didn't submit everyone, you couldn't win. So, like in the elimination rounds, if the time limit ran out, both guys got disqualified.
Damn.
You had to be a sub. And the finals were always no time limit.
That's nice.
So, yeah. So, I subbed 3 guys, and I used leg locks, dude. And I did leg locks that I didn't know at the time weren't common. So, like, guys were watching it that didn't do leg locks, and they were like, oh, okay, yeah, leg locks. And then the guys who were watching it who did do leg locks were like, what the fuck is that? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just didn't know, you know? I was just doing shit. And so that reinforced, like, working on leg locks for me because, like, that was a huge moment for me. You know what I'm saying? Like, winning that tournament at that time was crazy. The guy who filmed my matches was this guy, Vic, who's literally, like, the Spanish Joe Rogan for the UFC, right?
Okay, cool.
Right? And then Eddie was cornering me, and my ref was Javier Vasquez from the UFC.
Oh yeah.
Oh wow.
And so like that's like the vibe, you know what I'm saying? Like those are like the faces in the room.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's just like winning in front of all those people to me.
Are you talking about Vic, like
crazy.
Eddie's EBI Vic? Wow.
Yeah, Victor Davila.
That's wild, dude.
Right? So like you imagine like you're a blue belt, you're a year into jiu-jitsu.
You don't even get it yet. No. Even that he filmed, you don't understand like who that is.
No, I didn't.
Until a while later, I assume, and then you're like, oh my god.
They had to tell me who people were because I was so new to everything. You know what I mean?
They're they're like telling you whoever it is, and you're like, oh, that's cool.
Now, how good did it feel to win that tournament in front of Eddie?
For me, dude, obviously, right? Like I'm new and shit, so I'm just like losing my mind.
Yeah.
I'm just like, oh my
god,
god,
freaking the fuck out.
And
you're like, I'm the next Eddie Bravo, because that was in between his big Gracie matches, right? Yeah, that's wild.
When I won that tournament, dude,
you're part of history.
I was like, whoa, shit. It was a crazy thing. It was a crazy thing. So I won it. And I was like, oh, my God, you know, whatever. And Eddie was like, cool, I'm going to come out to your school and do a seminar in a couple months. And I was like, sick, no problem. So Eddie comes out to the MMA school I'm at, and he promotes me to purple belt like himself. Like, he's like, all right, dude, you won, like, the submission-only world championships, essentially. Like, you're a purple belt now. So I'm a year and 8 months into jiu-jitsu. He has me running a school, and I'm a purple belt. And I'm going, what the fuck, dude? I'm not ready for this shit.
Did he then make your school a 10th planet school?
Yep.
Wow.
Officially. Like, he was like, all right.
Dude, I would have been in fucking tears,
Under
bro.
2 years.
Under 2 years, yeah.
I would have been a mess. I would have been like, what?
See, I don't do jujitsu, but because, me and him are so close, I understand, like, the steps that it takes to get there and, like, how much time it takes to put it, to, like, get to those, reach those levels. That is fucking insane.
It was crazy, dude. Like, I literally woke up the next morning and was just like, fuck. You know what I mean? Like, I gotta hold this down now. You know what I'm saying? I didn't feel ready.
The pressure's fucking insane, dude.
So then you come to a crossroads where you're like, all right, this is like my first. This was definitely my first like look in the mirror as a coach moment. Like, what am I about to do? So it was like, all right, I got this purple belt. I don't know if I'm ready for it, dude. I really don't. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Fuck. I got all these guys like kind of look up to me, my students essentially. Like, fuck, I just kind of looked at them as training partners prior to that,
Yeah.
And
like,
Chase has been with you the whole time, Hannah?
Yeah, but he like didn't take jiu-jitsu serious for a couple of years.
Because he was so young, right?
Yeah, I was a purple belt when Chase finally decided, like, yeah, I really want to like pursue jiu-jitsu. You know,
what age was he when he figured that out?
Probably like 16.
16.
Yeah. So
he's in an adult belt then. So he's a white belt.
Yeah, he's a white belt. Wow. Yeah, but he was like 240. And like, had like hypertension and shit. So he was just like not like we used to like just roll him around, because he was just there having fun, like he didn't care. There was a time where he like started taking it serious though, and like there was a summer where he couldn't afford to train, and I was like, don't worry about it, you can just come train. And he was like, nah, I'm gonna go work this job and save up enough money to pay for a year of classes during the summer, which is not that hard to do, to be honest. Not that expensive. We were charging like $65 a month back then. You know what I mean?
Wow.
A year of classes is nothing. You know what I'm saying?
Really.
Right. Fuck, so he's like, I'm gonna save up and buy a whole year of classes with my summer like job money. And I was like, all right, man, whatever you want to do. And not only did he leave for like 2 months and then come back and pay for a year, he left for 2 months and he came back like 40 pounds lighter.
Yeah, working that summer job, dog.
No.
Well, I'll say he grew. I assume.
Dude. Yeah, that's what you think, but none of that stuff. He literally was just like, I'm gonna do jujitsu. Like, I've decided that I'm gonna do jujitsu. I want to pursue jujitsu, and so I'm going to fix my diet. I'm gonna make this money so I can pay for a year. Like, he literally like grew up in 2 months. Like, he literally went from just like this little kid that was just like, I don't know, to like fucking like there's a grown dude like paying for his classes. He got his weight under control. His health is getting better. He's stretching. He's doing all these things. He's lifting weights. I was like, okay, man. And like literally just watched him kind of transform from like that to this. You know what I mean?
2 months.
And just a handful of months. Like, and when he showed back up, everyone was like, what? That's Chase Hanna. You know what I mean? Like, oh shit. Yeah. He just looked healthy for once. And like, oh shit. And then. So that was like his story too, getting into jiu-jitsu. So then from that point on was really when he started training for real. You know what I mean? He didn't really train for real prior to that.
Yeah.
And so yeah, that happened. But yeah, we were just there, dude. A couple years in, like, of being at that MMA. I was still at this MMA school, this guy,
Mm-hmm.
And then when Eddie approached me about, like, being an official 10th Planet school, I was like, well, I don't know how I work this out with this guy. So I go to this guy. He's like, here's what we'll do, man. You'll run the 10th Planet thing. You'll do it like its own business. And we'll just, like, be partners, and we'll split the bills, and we'll split the tuition down the middle from the gym. You know what I mean? And so then, like, you'll have your own thing essentially, and you won't have to like try to go out and like start your own thing, which is like difficult.
Yeah.
And me being like, man, I was like 21, 22, I was like, man, all right, cool, because that saves me a lot of trouble. Like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing out here, I'm studying jiu-jitsu every day. I'm not studying business. Like, I don't know,
Yeah.
And so anyway, fucking whatever. We get in, and a year in, like, I kind of discover that, like, this guy is, like, not the most, like, honest, straightforward business person.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I could feel that coming.
Yeah, the vibes were definitely down.
Yeah. When you said car salesman earlier, I was like,
this is headed to a bad place.
Yeah,
dude.
this is not going.
No, dude, this guy, and you know what's crazy is that, like, people in the community, like, for years I had masked their, like, sort of distaste for this guy with my own, because I was like, no, dude, like it's because I'm 10th Planet. Like, that's why they don't want to, like, talk to me and shit. That's why they're not cool with me. You know what I'm saying? Like, all the local guys were just shitty to me. I was like a young guy, 10th Planet, the whole nine. And I was like, they're all just shitty to me. And I left that place. I found out that, like, he just ran it into the ground. At some point in time, he decided he was gonna be the kickboxing coach there, and he was just like
Wow.
telling all these guys he lived in Thailand and all this shit. And I was like, bro, this guy's never done anything ever. Okay, he's a white belt in jiu-jitsu.
Okay.
He's a white belt in jiu-jitsu. He's never trained under anyone ever. You know what I mean? He has 2 MMA fights. He's 0-2. He quit in both of them.
Oh, wow.
I was like, bro, like none of this stuff ever mattered.
Yeah.
You know, until he started being like, yeah, man, I'm the Muay Thai coach now. And I did Muay Thai
Until
in
he
Thailand.
started putting the show on like he's the fucking shit.
And I was like, dude, this guy's always just been like the owner of the gym. Like,
dude, you know what's wild is there's such a parallel between you and that guy, but y'all took different paths. Like, you were transparent, like, hey, I don't know what I'm doing, but I'll teach you what I know.
Yeah.
And then that guy was like, I know everything what I'm doing.
All of it.
I know all of it.
Yeah.
And you should listen to me.
That's exactly what happened.
That's so funny.
And the guy was such a good talker that he was always able to talk himself into like positions.
God, there's so many of them people
where that would collapse things for him, you know?
Yeah.
So like,
it's a sandcastle.
He talked himself.
They
so
build
far
such a
up.
nice sandcastle, and as soon as the truth comes, that shit washes away real quick.
right. And that's the problem that like those guys have, right? So like, you know, there's always like something waiting for you when you make these dishonest choices, right?
Yeah.
And in jiu-jitsu, when you do that, what's waiting for you is the more you talk yourself up, you're either going to get found out and blown up and people are going to forget about you, or you're going to be successful in those efforts, and then eventually someone high level is going to show up to train with you because you're high level, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And then you're going to get exposed,
Then
like in
you're
the
fucked.
worst possible way.
Yeah.
And that's what ended up happening. So one of my brown belts, Justin, has a school in Atmore, and Justin is an extremely
Raymer?
yeah.
Okay.
Justin's an extremely high level MMA fighter.
Yeah.
He never did anything with it because he just chose to live in Atmore, and like I don't know why he like for years we were just like I tried to convince Justin to move to like Black Zillions. I literally took Justin to Black Zillions with me and was like, all right, man, we're here. I'm gonna introduce you to everyone, and you're gonna train here, dude.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he's trained there with us. And then was just like, it wasn't for me, man.
Man, Atmore's pretty sweet.
yeah. So
He's like, the one casino we have, pretty nice.
yeah, he just didn't want to leave his family, I think,
Yeah,
you know, which is
absolutely.
understandable. But anyway, regardless of that, everywhere I took him, they were like, what can we do to get this guy to stay here with us, you know? And I'm like, yeah, I know.
Exactly.
So Matt,
You're like,
this
I brought him
guy-
here. I don't know.
I'm trying.
Yeah, so this guy, like, I'd never met Justin really. I'd seen him fight locally because he fought amateur for a number of years. I think he had like 15 fights amateur, and he just destroyed everyone at like 3 weight classes, which is like crazy. So every time I'd see him fight, if I was at an amateur card, I'm like, oh, Justin's going up. I'm like, I gotta watch this shit. He's about to fuck somebody up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's crazy. So one day I'm training in the morning, and in walks Justin, and I'm like, oh, what's up, dude? And he's like, oh, I'm here to train, man. I'm Justin. I was like, I kind of already know who you are, dude. 'Cause I seen you
knock fools out for a while.
I seen you kill a man one time. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like,
He
whatever.
didn't get up.
Like, different training goes on in here, so
Yeah, I was like,
behave.
cool. I was like,
Behave.
cool, man. Well, I'm excited to roll with him. You know,
Yeah.
See where his jiu-jitsu's at. But other than that, you know, whatever. So then they get done like with their little session or what. I didn't even really watch their session. They get done. Dude comes over and he's just like, yeah, man, like, you know, their gym closed up there in Atmore or whatever. And I've been telling Justin he needs to come down here and train with us, dude. He's gonna start training with us. And I was like, I was starting to put the pieces in my head together, and I'm like, oh no, you're setting yourself up for a massive failure right now. Because
Yeah.
like you can't facilitate this guy at all. Like at all. Like he can come train with us, and I hadn't rolled with him in jiu-jitsu yet, and I was like, for all I know, he's better than me at jiu-jitsu. Fuck. Like
Yeah.
but I know for sure we don't have a striking coach that can work with this guy. Right?
Yeah.
And this is before homie decided to be the striking coach. Or at least before he told me that he was gonna be the striking coach. Because he was actually trying to hire some guys at the time. Like some good guys. So I was like, yeah, let's go. So then one of the other MMA fighters comes up to me maybe like a month later, you know what I mean? And me and Chase and Josh are like sitting on the mat, we trained, and he was like, hey man, I just want to say, this little Cuban guy, his name was Charlie, he's from Miami, and he's like nuts, dude, like classic like little Cuban guy from Miami. He's like, bro, I just want to tell you, bro, I'm so happy you guys let me train here, dude. Like it's such like an honor to get to train with you guys. And I was like, okay, man, sure, I guess. Dap him up, whatever. And he's just like, man, I get to learn jiu-jitsu from a guy that's like right under Eddie Bravo. And I was like, yeah, okay. And he's like, you know, I get to do Muay Thai with a guy that like learned it straight from Thailand. And I was like, oh shit, Matt got a guy? He got a guy? I was like, damn. I was like, who's
You
this
like
guy?
look over and you're like,
Who is this guy?
I was like, who? Because I know he told me he had been talking to a couple of like Thai dudes that live in the state,
Yeah.
in Alabama.
Dude, it'd be funny if you went over to him and was like, I heard we got a guy.
Yeah.
Well, it's really like kind of how the conversation went down.
Oh shit!
Because I was like, damn, we
Who's
got a
this?
guy. And he was like, yeah, you know, I fucking whatever. And he's like, you know, train with you guys, and you know, Matt lived in Thailand, and I was like,
What?
huh? like, huh? What the fuck? And so I go to him. I'm like, Matt, I was like, did you get a guy to like teach kickboxing? And he was just like, nah, man, I think I'm just gonna do it because I can't find anybody, dude. And I was like, that makes a lot of sense. Did you say you lived in Thailand?
Yeah.
And he was just like,
Next question.
He was
You
just
said
like,
something about Thailand, huh?
nah, dude, I just told him like I got this U.S. Muay Thai certification from a guy that learned from another guy that's from Thailand, you know, whatever.
no.
And he did do that because you can just buy that shit online.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, he bought this shit, and this guy came out to certify him. This guy's name was Crew Rick. Crew Rick shows up with a mullet and a beer belly from Tennessee.
Rick.
Yeah, and he's watching this dude kick a bag, and he's like, saying
Good enough.
just
Come
all
on now,
kinds of
son.
weird shit. He sold
Yeah.
him a box of like some kind of homemade shin liniment, and he dipped, dude. I was like, yo, you got
What the
scammed. You got scammed
dude?
straight
He
up,
goes, you got
bro."
scammed, and that means we all got
We
fucking
got all
scammed, dude.
scammed.
Dude, it was amazing.
Damn it.
Me and Chase are just watching.
That
this.
sounds like
I would've
McDojo,
loved
the
this-
guy that does the McDojo
Oh,
videos.
yeah.
It
I
sounds
would
like
have loved
him.
to see that on video.
dude.
See Bubba
Dude,
roll
can you
up in
imagine
the
if it was
truck,
actually
dude?
the McDojo guy, like before he became like viral for being funny and shit?
man.
If he was actually doing that, and he's like,
He's
dude,
like,
you wouldn't believe what I
"Fuck, it
used to
might
do.
be him."
This is how
it
I knew
might
it was
be.
possible. So yeah, this happens, dude, and like me and Chase are just watching all of this, dude, and we're just like, holy man, this is
not good.
This is like a trash fire, dude. Like,
That's
for
yeah,
real.
yeah, yeah.
That's why the vibes are so good in your gym, because you get to laugh before you roll.
Sure.
Like you watch these guys, and then you're like, oh, okay,
Okay.
okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
dude, we're like, fuck, dude. Like, so that happens. I'm like, all right, this is definitely on a downward slope here,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know. And we're watching him like start to become this person, right? So week by week, we're watching him slowly become this guy, you know. He starts showing up in Muay Thai shorts every day, like the cheap ones with all the like frilly like shit on them and
Yeah.
stuff that no one actually ever wears. And he's got like these gloves. He got a pair of golden boxing gloves that he's using.
Fuck
man.
yeah, he
God,
does.
That's
dude.
funny, dude.
Fuck
yeah,
he
that shit is
does.
funny. And he's doing like what's really funny is he's doing kiops, right? It's like from karate. So like you kick the bag, and I'm like, it's not Muay Thai, it's karate. I know enough about karate. I've seen this shit before, you know.
Yeah.
Muay Thai, and so they do this thing in Muay Thai when they fight, called a white crew, right? Which is like a dance,
Yeah.
right? You've probably seen that
yeah.
before. And basically, your team comes out, they do the white crew, and then they
Like to give you an example, it's like what Israel does before
Okay,
his
that's
fights.
what I was
It's
thinking.
basically the same
Okay.
thing. It's part of tradition.
yeah, it's like
Okay,
a tradition from Muay Thai,
Yeah.
but you don't do it in training ever, and you only really do it at fights. You know?
He does it every time he walks into the gym.
Every time.
Oh my
He-
God,
no, but he
dude.
would have them do it as a group, like it was a warm up, and he had made it up where it was like we're gonna get on our knees and like bend down, and he goes, "You got this, dude." And this guy's he has a hella southern accent. He goes, "Listen, man, you got this triangle right here," and he'd be like, "Up here is God, down here is me, and this over here, this is you." And so what we want to do
Bruh.
is we want to put this down on the mat, and we're gonna bow, and we're gonna touch our nose right in the middle of it. And he was doing this. He was like touching his face into it. And I had this white belt at the time, and he was just like, "Yo, what the fuck's going on over there?" And he's like, ugh. And then they would be doing it, and he'd be like looking at him from the side, like waiting for him to look up. And he's like, ugh. Like,
What the?
it got to be so bad where all the jiu-jitsu guys were just like, "Wait till you guys see what goes on in the Muay
Yeah, yeah,
Thai."
Yeah.
And like, I really just, I guess at the time, dude, like I was just in this place where I was like, for me, when I see stuff like that, I don't get like offended. Like I know guys get offended by shit like that. And they get mad and they want to like call the dude out and shit.
Yeah.
It doesn't do that to me, dude. I just get super disappointed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like where I'm just like, fuck, man.
Well,
like,
it hurts you because like you're in the same building as this person, right? And you're like associated with this person, and like you're seeing them put on this show like they're this badass motherfucker, but you really know like that's really not how it's supposed to.
And
go.
by a weird association, they see you and how legit your shit is, and then they assume
yeah,
that's
his
the
shit's
thing.
legit.
Yeah.
So they're like, why would Sean wouldn't be in a school like?
yeah,
So they're like,
yeah,
that's the shit.
yeah.
Yeah, dude.
This is what we're supposed to do, right?
Yeah, we had some guys come down from Canada that were like doing this thing for Viceland or whatever. They were
Oh,
traveling
really?
That's
across the
dope.
country, right? And one of the guys on their crew was from 10th Planet. So he's like, we got to hit the 10th Planet schools. And that's kind of how I got the hookup with that, you know what I mean? And so they were like, we're going to come through and film at your school. And I was like, sick.
No way.
So they come through and they're like filming. And then they see this guy like doing his class, and the guys from the film crew trained at TriStar.
Okay.
Canada,
wow.
right?
Yeah.
So they were like watching this dude,
That's
and they were
insane.
like,
What is going
"Bro,
on?
what the fuck is that?" And I was
Yeah.
like, "I don't know, I don't
That ain't
know,
me, dog."
dude. Like, we can. You guys want to get some food, or we can get the fuck out of here, please?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, so I tried to like. There were a few moments on the road where I tried to stop and be like, "Yo, listen, dude, this happened." To like a small amount of humiliation, and then we can grow now, please.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And so those guys were one of them. I was like,
Please.
"Yo," I was like, "These guys were from TriStar, dude. They watched your class."
Mm-hmm.
And he was just like, "Oh, really?"
They
And I
impressed.
was like, "Yeah." He was just, that's kind of his attitude. He was like,
Yeah.
"Yeah." He was like, "Wow, man." It's like, "I'm glad I showed that clinch work stuff today then." And I was like, I mean, like I said, dude, like what he's doing isn't like making me angry or anything. If he pissed me
Yeah.
off, I'd have no problem just being like, they think you're a fucking joke, dude.
Yeah.
But like, I was just like, oh, man, you're kind of hopeless, dude. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I'm trying to like. So anyway, that goes on for a while, so much so, and the dude was so oblivious. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
he just literally thought I feel like he thought he was so much smarter than everyone
Yeah.
that like there was no way they could catch on to it. That Josh would come in, and I'm sure you can imagine this because you've met him before, would come in Muay Thai shorts behind
Like
him,
fucking ready to
and
go.
like just act like him behind him while he was walking around making fun of him, and the dude didn't even like, catch on. He was just like, damn, he had like a crazy southern accent. He'd be like, "Man, you're crazy, Yelvo. You're crazy, man." He's walking behind him, kicking the bag, making the noises the dude makes, like holding a, like you used to take the laundry. We had towels in the gym.
Yeah.
He would take it home and bring it back. So he's always like kind of dragging around this like laundry basket. And so Josh comes in with a laundry basket. And I'm like, what the fuck? Stop, dude. And me and Chase are like on this couch, like at the in the lobby of the gym, and we're like, he's gonna catch on this time.
Yeah.
And he had this shitty little bandana he used to wear, and Josh put a
Yeah.
bandana on, dude. It was like,
God, dude.
I was like, this is where Josh and him fight, and then we leave forever for
Yeah.
sure, right?
Yeah.
Nope. He laughed the whole time. He thought it was great. Had no idea.
He's probably nervous.
I
Yeah,
mean, maybe.
well,
He was probably
Dude, you
like,
got-
fuck.
You got Josh.
What
doing shit
now?
like
Yeah.
that. Yeah. If Josh makes fun of me, even if it hurts my feelings, I'll be like, "That's funny, man. That's a good one." You know, like,
Dude, Josh is just so. I'm like, all right, man. You know, the last straw, because I felt like I owed the guy because he like let me start. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I gave him like, so like there was one year where I found out like he had like 5 students enrolled or 10 students or something like that,
Yeah.
you know, and I had like 40 or 50 students enrolled, right? So like I was paying the bills essentially, you know,
Right.
and so I was like, man, this guy like let me get my start, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and he's taking half.
Well, he supported me, you know, for
Yeah.
a number, for like the first year and a half, you know. So I was like, I'm gonna give this dude like a couple years. I'll support him for a couple years and just pay him back for that, essentially. And then maybe we'll talk about getting our own spot and doing our own thing, right? Like,
Right.
And so that went on for about a year, and I'm notorious within like my team with my students for just not like doing like the harsh things, you know what I mean? Like we've had to kick people out, and when I have to kick them out, I'm the last one that like finally agrees that we should kick them out.
Yeah.
And then I go back to class the next week and they're all like, fucking finally, dude, gee, you know what I mean? Like like so that's
Yeah.
my problem. But so I was like that with him, and Tori was just like, don't give him a fucking year, get out now, you know, whatever. And I was like, nah. But then we found out like one month that the dude had like gone and gotten another job because the gym was like gonna do really poorly. We had like a drop off, and basically he had put me in a position where he wasn't gonna say anything about it, and then like the bills would have come due, and instead of me getting paid from the gym, he would have been like, hey man, I need you to give me like $500 for the bills or something, you know what I mean?
Fuck.
And like he had just left me in that scenario without saying anything, and I was like,
You're like, you're forcing my
This is
hand.
yeah.
and he was we had gotten to know him over those years, you know, he's a shady dude, so we were just like, fuck, man,
This is the last straw.
you're gonna
kinda
force
deal.
my hand, you know, I gotta do this. And so we left, man. We got our own place and we bailed, and the dude went nuts, dude. The guy was just like, you know, of course, like, oh, they're terrible people, they took all this from me and did all these things to me. And I'm just like, man, the moment I left, I'm getting messages from people I thought like hated me, dude.
Yeah.
Like the local jiu-jitsu guys.
Yeah.
They're like, dude, we were waiting. How long is it going to take for you to get out of there, dude? We've been waiting on you to get out of there. Like, blah, 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 blah. So all these years of thinking that these guys didn't like me because of 10th Planet or whatever. When in reality, they all didn't like that dude because they saw him for what he was. And then
they probably don't know your personal relationship with him too well, and they don't want to be like, "Yo, homeboy sucks."
Now, did you?
Yeah, they didn't want to tell me
and then
that.
you be like, "That's my hero."
Yeah.
That would be the worst, right?
Now, did you have any of those guys in the local community try and tell you about this guy? No.
Never, dude.
Really?
Never, not one time. But and I respect them for that. You know what I mean?
Right.
To be honest, because imagine if you guys were training out of school and like the guy was like a piece, dude, and like, but he was like your guy, you know, and then like I just came to you guys and I was like, listen, dude, you guys don't know this.
This is what's going on.
This guy's a scumbag, you know. And you guys wouldn't appreciate that at all.
Right.
You'd be like, nah, man. And you guys would like try to justify it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then it would get really ugly because then it'd be me trying to convince you guys that this guy you respect is not a good guy.
Yeah.
And you're not trying to hear that, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I think those guys were all older and mature and they knew that. So they just didn't try to sell like that, you know what I mean? They were just like, but when I left though, they were like, wow,
yeah,
dude,
that's when they could.
mean? Yeah. Entire groups of people I thought hated me, dude.
It's a very mature way to, you know, to look at it, definitely.
I mean,
So,
you know.
so what was your next step after that? Like, where did you leave to?
So, I mean, at this time I was 25, 25, you know what I mean? So I was like, well.
So that's 2015?
Yeah, 2014, 2015 area. Maybe 2013, 2014 for sure.
Okay.
So I was like, all right, like, I got to do this. So I just got some money together, you know, and there's a guy that owns like, I don't know what percentage anymore, but at the time he owned like 50% of the commercial real estate, like in Gulf Shores.
Holy
It was insane.
fuck.
Who the fuck is that guy?
He'd been there since like the 70s and just like owned everything.
He's
You
like,
know
I'll
what I
take
mean?
this.
Yeah, he owns
he's
Applegate
monopoly
City and shit, dude.
for sure,
Yeah.
dude.
This old ass fool. He looks like Burt Reynolds, dude.
Damn.
Old as fuck, dude.
Respect.
And so I'm like looking at this little duplex spot, and I'm like, this would kind of be perfect. So I hit up the guy, you know, and he comes out, pulls up, climbs out of his truck. This little old dude, you know, like I said, looked like Burt Reynolds. You know what I mean? He was old as hell.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, you know, like, yeah, I like the spot, man. I was like, and I had this whole speech prepared where I was like, look, man, I know I'm like 24, 23, 24, whatever, like. You know, like I'm a young guy. You know, you don't have any reason to believe in me, but like I swear, if I sign this lease, I'll like hold it up. And he was like, "All right, man, listen." He was like, "You got $3,000 right now?" And I go, "Yes." And he goes, "All right." So he goes with his truck, and he gets this folder, and it's like one size fits all leases. They're not like custom typed contracts. It's literally like a one size fits all. And then he starts writing on it. He's like, "What's your name?" And I put my name. He puts my name. And he's like, "All right." And we said this amount. I was like, "Yeah."
You're like, actually way lower, but we'll go with
Dude.
that.
Yeah.
And so he goes, "All right, just give me $3,000." So I handed him $3,000, and he goes, "All right, sign that, and you're good." And he gave me the keys. Damn. Right there in that moment.
At that fucking day.
There was no.
Were you
background check.
prepared for it right then in that moment, or was it like,
No. I was like,
No.
this isn't gonna happen. And when I saw him get out of his truck, I was like, oh, it's definitely not gonna happen.
Yeah.
And then I was like, yo. And then, so like, there was some confusion because he's like in his 70s, you know. There was some confusion about like the commencement date. So I told him, I said, listen, dude, I got to do some work to this place. Nobody's been in it for like over a year. Then we have to tear a wall down inside of it. So there's quite a bit of work, you know. And he was like, all right, no problem. I was like, give me 1 month, and then we'll commence after that month, okay? And he's like, cool, whatever. So for a month, you know, we're working on this thing, and he shows up. Like right at the end of the month, right after we moved our mats in. It was like the third class we had. And he was like, hey, you know, I know we haven't talked or whatever, but the rent is due. And I was like,
Nope.
huh? And he was like, yeah, the rent's due, man. And I was like, no, dude, like, it was a 30-day, like, commencement, right? And he was just like, he's like, I don't remember any of that. And I was like, all right. So we go outside, and I'm like, look, man, I'm going to pay you the rent today, but I just want you to know that this wasn't exactly the deal we had, and I just want to make sure we do things the best way moving here forward. And he was just like, listen, man. He goes, there probably was a deal where you weren't supposed to pay for a month. He's like, but I'm 70-something years old. He goes, I just sold my Ferrari. I can't even get in it anymore. He goes, all I want to do is chill and collect these checks. You know what I'm saying? I'm just like, I'm like, this dude is like an old school player, bro.
yeah,
like, what
he
the
goes,
fuck?
you are my bitch. I am your pimp.
Yeah.
Give me my money.
He was just like, look, man, I don't care about any of that shit. I just want to get paid, baby. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, all right, I got you, big dog. So I wrote him the check. And, you know, he was good to go. And he was just like, look, man, like, as long as you guys can just pay this rent every month, dude. He's like, we'll never have a problem. If you guys ever need anything, let me know. And I was like, cool. And so from then on, dude, he would just kind of pop in. And like we just chop it up. Like he was just like this old school like 70s like player type.
Yeah.
Dude. So like the vibe was up. You know what I mean?
That's
like I'm
so
trying to
tight,
chill with
though.
this guy. He's got like endless money. And then also like he has a daughter. And she married this dude that was like a wrestler, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And the guy was kind of like a dickhead, you know, like he didn't like the guy. And one of our guys fought in a jiu-jitsu tournament and like tapped him. And so then I was like, he was like telling me about the guy. And I was like, oh yeah, I think one of our guys like had a match with him. I showed him the match, and he was so happy to watch this dude tap and get like fucked up. And he like, dude, and so like. I had developed a good relationship with the guy. Like I would go help him with shit, you know.
Yeah.
Like he would like hit me up, like be like, hey man, like
That's dope.
do you have a class? Like
Yeah, that's
two,
all.
you know, I can pick you up. Like I need to help moving some shit, so I go help him. Just
Yeah.
cool.
That is an
dude,
awesome
you know?
relationship though to have with somebody.
Yeah.
So that was a
like
beautiful
that.
thing that came from me leaving, right? And
Yeah.
then of course my relationship with the whole community got better because they all were like, yeah, dude, we were waiting for this. And the last thing I saw at that place, dude, before I left, was literally it was an MMA session, and we were waiting for them to get done so that they could leave, and then we could start packing more of our stuff, you know, so we get out of there. And this dude would like take these guys and he would have them spar, really like basically fight, you know. And then after they would get done, he'd be like, all right man, like I'm next. And he was like big, he was like 6'1" or so, like probably like 240. He was a chubby guy, but like not like or obese, you know.
Yeah.
So he's
Carried
kind
it
of
well.
a bigger dude, like
Yeah.
about Josh's size, you
Yeah.
know?
Okay.
And but not like jacked like Josh. And so I was like, you know, I would always see him do that, and I always think it was the corniest thing I'd ever seen. You know what I mean? Like, man, you can't like get in there with them like after they're tired and you're bigger, and then trying to beat them. And he was trying to beat them up.
He was trying to be the man still.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he tried to do that to Justin. He had Justin spar with this middleweight dude we had, and Justin's just doing his thing, and they get done. He's like, all right, Justin, me and you about to go. And he gets up there, dude, and he's like, all right, man, we're not going to go too hard or whatever. And they start moving a little bit, and then he just, like, leg kicks Justin into, like, next year, dude. Like, leg kick, and this is a huge guy. Leg kicks the crap out of Justin. And I was like, here he goes. And this is regular as fuck.
Justin just tunes him up.
Me and Chase, we're watching this, we're like, this is so regular, dude. Like, fuck, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so, like, next thing I know, dude, we had a mat. It was a 36 by 36, like, wrestling mat. They're in one corner of it, sparring. Like, kind of like he had, like, almost, like, backed Justin up. And then I hear, like, a loud-ass smack. And I look up, and Justin's running this dude to the other side. And he's backpedaling. They get all the way across that 36-foot mat. And then Justin hits him and drops him and then gets on top of him and is just drilling him. And he's like, all right. And, like, Justin lets him up. And, like, walks back to the middle of the thing. And, like, he's ready to keep going. And dude's just like, all right, man, that was really good. And he starts taking off his gloves and shit. And I'm like, yo.
No, homeboy, we just started.
Dude, Justin, like, old school classic, like, Vitor Belfort his ass across the fucking mat, dude. And dropped him at the end and was just drilling him. And I was like, yo. I thought I was going to have to pull him off of him, to be honest with you. Like, I had gotten up. And then they stopped. And I was like, oh, fuck, dude. And so that was like the last kind of thing I saw in the gym, you know, before I got out of there. And I was like, imagine it's not Justin, because Justin's 170 pounds. You know what I mean? And imagine it's like an actual heavyweight or something that you can
Somebody that's his side.
Yeah, and this dude got pissed and just one shot at you, like, you know,
and
what
you
I
couldn't
mean?
stop him.
Yeah,
You're
and then
like,
having him on top of him and not being able to do anything about it.
you just hold
just
him.
drill
Try
him
to
into the
hold
ground.
a limb.
Oh my gosh. Dude.
So, yeah, so then we got on our own, you know, after that. No more bullshit, no more whatever. And that's when the vibes really, like, started to go up, you know what I mean? No more, like, bullshit. You're not seeing anything weird when you come in, you know? And this guy would, like, also, like, say crazy shit to our people, you know?
Yeah.
He asked Tori about something in the gym, if she knew where something was or something like that. And he asked her if it was, like, in a specific place, and she said no. And then it turned out it was in that specific place. And I don't remember any of that part of it because the next part is so weird. But she was pissed, and she didn't want to go back to training. And I was like, well, what happened, this conversation? And she's like, well, basically, he was, like, mad and was just, like, telling me that, like, I need to, like, you know, think about, like, how I talk to people and stuff, because I lied to him about where this thing was. And I was like, you lied to him about it? And she was like, no, I didn't know it was there. And she's like, I just didn't know where it was, what he was looking for.
Yeah.
And his words were exactly, you lied to me. You didn't know you were lying to me, but you lied to me. And I was like, I don't think that dude knows what a lie is.
That's not how a lie works, my guy.
Dude, I was like, I don't think this guy knows what a lie is.
I was
man.
mistaken, my friend.
Yeah.
That's called a mistake.
Yeah, like, dude, he literally, and I was like, cool. So none of that was happening anymore. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We got this new spot. We started growing, dude. Like,
You got this cool old guy just hanging out with you.
that guy was dope.
Yeah.
He was dope for sure. Like,
So what made the big change for you to go to Atlanta?
so we did that stuff for a number of years, right?
Yeah.
On our own. One of my blue belts was a CrossFit guy. He was like in touch with like this guy that was like a big developer, commercial developer in Foley. He's like, I'm gonna build this building. I'm building it no matter what. I need tenants, whatever. If I build it out for you guys, will you guys rent it? And we were like, will we take a brand new building? Yeah, let's go, dude. What do you mean? That's specifically designed for us.
Yeah.
Like, come on, dog. So he built it out for us, and that's where we were for the longest. And then
That was still in Foley?
mhm.
Okay.
That's where we were for the longest. Like, before I left to go to Atlanta, that's where we were.
Is that the wheels?
No. That's where the Josh is at now.
Yeah, that looks like specifically built.
So that also was specifically built
Okay.
for that, but Chris built that himself.
Okay.
You know, well, not like himself, but
Yeah,
you know,
I got you.
But so we were at this place, bro, and this guy Byron from Atlanta, he runs like this tournament, Kakuto, right?
Yeah.
And so Byron,
Chill
like,
guy.
is like one of my good homies over the years because we used to always go support his tournaments. They were sub only.
Yeah.
And he would bring in big names so we could go and like fight like better guys, you know?
Yeah.
Which was always good for us because like, if I can go to Atlanta to fight guys and not have to fight California, that'd be amazing.
Yeah.
So we were going there. I was in Miami. Byron was also in Miami. By chance, we had dinner, and he was like, "What would it take to get you guys to bring 10th Planet to Atlanta?" And I was like, "Too much, dude. You know what I mean? Like, I live in Gulf Shores, dude. I'm chilling. Like,
Yeah.
I like live on an island, dude. Like, I got all these reasons not to leave, you know."
Yeah.
And he was just like, "Well, like, what would it take? What would it take?" So I was like, I'm gonna price myself out because he's so persistent about it, you know.
Yeah.
So I was like, "You'd have to pay me this much money per year. I'd have a house. It had to be furnished. Tori would have to have a job. Chase would have to have a job at the gym. You have to pay him this much per year. Josh would have to have a job at the gym. You have to pay this much per year." Like, I just was like, all right, here's what it would take
just
for
laid it all out.
realistically.
Yeah.
He goes, all right, man, I hear you. And like, cool. We leave.
You're like, that settles that.
I was
Yeah.
like, done, dude.
He said,
Got played.
getting
So
that
like,
You
I
played yourself.
I go back to Gulf Shores. I'm chilling. I get a text from Byron. "Hey man, I think we can do all those things you talked about. You really serious about coming to Atlanta?" I was like, "Well, I guess I am now."
he's like,
Yeah.
fuck. He's
Damn.
like, you called my bluff, dog.
He's like, I also got you a Maybach. Is that too much?
Dude, he was just like, there
Holy
was no
shit,
obstacle, dude.
dude.
It was just like, yeah.
Just made it fucking happen.
So I was like, fuck it, dude, whatever. So we're going to Atlanta now. So I tell everybody, all like the guys that are pros in the gym, I'm like, listen, guys, we're going to Atlanta. The money's right. The time is right. There's a bigger scene there. We'll have access to more black belts to train with all the time. You know, it'll be better for us. And so Chase and Tori and Josh were all like, yeah, we're in. You know, let's go. And so we had a handful of guys at our gym. And we're like, well, fuck, what do we do about these guys? So I was like, somebody's gonna have to stay behind to take care of these guys, you know what I'm saying? And so Dalton and Josh switched places. So Josh stayed to run the gym, and Dalton went with us to Atlanta. And so I was like, all right, cool, that'll work. And then, but the first thing we found out was that, like, for Josh to try to run that business, it wasn't going to happen, you know what I'm saying? Like, he never really ran a business before. He was a young guy. He had another job, you know. He was trying to train still.
Yeah.
Right.
It wasn't right for him.
How old was Josh at this point?
22, 23.
Oh, wow.
So he was around the
Okay.
same age I was when I did it, you know?
Yeah.
And so I just was like, man, like, this isn't working out. Chris had been hitting me up for years because Chris knew, like, how much of, like, a scumbag this other guy was, you know?
Right.
And so Chris had been hitting me up for years about, like, coming to train with him, but he never threw the guy under the bus until I left. Chris was the first guy that came to me, though. Chris came to me, like, when I was still renovating the space. Like, he just showed up. And like got out of his truck and was just like, yeah, I heard that you guys rented this space. Like, he's like connected as fuck. And I was like, yeah. And he was like, bro. And then like he laid it all on the table for me. You know what I mean? So Chris was the first one that came to me, but he was like, I wish you had just come to my place instead of going here, you know?
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I kind of want my own stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But when the door was open though, I was like, hey, Chris, do you still want to have our program at your gym? And he was like, yeah. I was like, cool. Josh needs like a job. You know what I mean? He doesn't need to be like running a business. You know what I mean? I was like, what do you think about hiring him? And he'll bring all the students and all the equipment. He was like, I'm in. Let's go. So Chris like took him in, you know.
That's awesome.
And Chris provided a space for all the guys to continue to train, and he gave Josh a job.
Yeah, and that's a way Josh learned kind of the background side of it too, huh? Through him. Yeah.
So Josh is definitely learning like how to be, you know, a good mentor and a good leader and a good business person and stuff from Chris, which is a beautiful thing because Chris is incredibly talented in those areas. So. It was just a beautiful thing, dude. How it worked out. Like I couldn't have asked for a better
Everything
situation.
fell into place.
And it was just from like, again, like these are like, not only are there like pitfalls for when you're cutting these corners, you know what I mean? And you're playing into this ego and this pride and stuff that these guys do, but there's also no benefits, no rewards for what happens if you don't do that stuff. You know what I mean? Right. So like if I had been like a dickhead the whole time, Chris would have never been there. You know what I mean? Josh would have been sink or swim at this place. And when he sank, he would have sank, and that would have been it. And all those people would have had nowhere to train, and Josh would have had to like leave, you know what I mean? Yeah. But because we had like good relationships, dude, it was done, man.
I think that's one of the most important things as far as career, relationship, whatever it is, to never burn a bridge. No matter what, you know, and no matter what's going on, no matter what kind of shit you've got going on, it's, for me, networking and how tight this community is. If you burn a bridge in one area, it doesn't matter what's going on, bro, it can follow you forever. Yeah. You know? And it's difficult to understand that, I think, especially at a younger age. But just getting to know the people around this area, and especially in the industry that I work in. But if you fuck up one relationship around here, dude, it can really, really fuck you up for a long period of time.
Yeah, it's probably just better if you just avoid. Like, instead of burning, like, don't burn. But if you can just stay away from that person or that situation and just do your thing, probably best.
Yeah, I mean, that's the move, right?
A lot of people are probably seeing the same thing you're seeing.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah, it takes a while, but it'll be seen.
Yeah.
It's weird, man.
I mean, that's just the way it goes, dude. So that's like the story of like starting out in that area, you know what I mean? And in this community, jiu-jitsu community here, you know, is like you start out like most people here, like you're starting out in the middle of nowhere. You're starting out on your own, you know what I mean? You build it up or you do whatever. Like I said, I think the only reason that I went to where I went with it was just simply because I was the young guy pushing it, you know what I mean? And a lot of the older guys just kind of didn't want to. They were just kind of like, yeah, man, like...
They were comfortable with where they were.
Yeah, like, they were just like, yeah, man, like, well, I'm focused on growing my school, so I really don't care about producing, like, the highest level competitors I can. Like, all right, cool. Or like, oh, man, like, I really like the gi. I don't really care too much about no gi. All right, that's what's up. Or, like, you know, they just weren't in the place to do it, and I was the guy that was in the place to do it. And then, like, also, like, I wanted to do it. You know what I'm saying?
You had the drive to be the one to put out the top level.
We pushed hard as fuck, dude. Like, trained hard as fuck. Like, dude, all those guys, like Josh, Chase, all those guys training 2 times a day, 6 days a week. Like, people are like, you know, the work is there. It's always funny because we have these guys that'll go compete and they'll be like, oh man, I just saw this guy from your gym. Like, this guy's like crazy, man. Just be like a prodigy or something. And I'm like, no, dude. That's twice a day for the last year.
You're like, and that's not even like, I mean, he sucks in our gym. Like, he's not even that good. He's just destroying all you guys.
Yeah.
No,
and that should say something.
Well, that's the thing, dude, is like every person that we've had on or that I've met through Josh or through like the 10th Planet kind of crew, bro, all of them fucking murderers, dude. It's crazy. It's insane.
Also, I saw you promoted a few people last night. That's awesome. Jordan got his purple.
Yeah, Jordan, yeah.
That's dope, dude.
Yeah, so like that, so Jordan, so one of the other guys got his purple, Steven.
Yeah.
Jordan and Steven just had a match like a couple weeks ago at a tournament in Georgia. It was like a little money tournament, little invitational deal. And they fought in the finals. And Steven beat Jordan in the finals. Steven's been training for 2 years or so. Steven's here. He's in the living room, but he's
I was like, I thought that was him when you were saying it.
So Steven's been training just a couple years, man, and then was able to even just beat Jordan, which is insane because Jordan's good. You know what I mean?
Jordan.
Dude, the rate of progression when those guys train like that, you know what I mean? They're there every single
especially
day.
when they're like, people underestimate like how much you learn when you're fresh.
Yeah.
When you don't have built-in ideas already. Like it's different. Like I'm sure you would like rather a fresh person versus somebody that's been doing jiu-jitsu for like 7 years in a regular gym.
Yeah.
Because they already have ideas of like, like they'll listen to you, but they're like, as soon as you walk away, they're like, he has no idea.
Yeah.
Like he thinks this works, but it doesn't work.
Yeah.
But if you in my opinion, the thing that helps you progress the most in jiu-jitsu is keeping an open mind. Like if you do not, you will just never progress. Or if you do progress, it's going to be so minimal. It'll take you so much longer to do something that if you just keep an open mind could take, I don't know, a few sessions, maybe a few weeks to really hammer it in good. But then it could take you years if you're like...
If you're closed-minded.
Yeah, you're falling in the same mistake. Like, it could even be happening in competition. You're like, well, Sean was just teaching this, but I just don't think that's really how it should be.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's one of the big struggles, like, in Atlanta, is that we have so many guys from other gyms joining our gym, you know? Constantly signing up blue belt, purple belt, brown belt, whatever.
Yeah.
Black belt. We have a ton of black belts, you know what I mean? They train there. And it's just like... Yeah, man, like, they're like, all right, well, I'm having an issue with this position. I'm like, all right, cool. But the issue isn't, like, on the surface like you think it is. It's, like, this concept that you don't have, you know? And they're like, all right. And I'm like, all right, cool. So talk to me in a month. You know what I mean? And it's just, like, a month goes by, and now they don't have that problem anymore. But it took a month. Yeah. Whereas, like, with these guys, I'm just like, yeah, like, this is side control. And they never make the mistake ever. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because they're picking it up fresh.
Yeah, they just get it right away.
Nothing's
I mean?
filling that space yet. It's like a plate full, or a plate that's empty. But then like a black belt might have a full plate, and then it's like you got to take some shit off that plate. Because that was the wrong thing, or like maybe conceptually it was inefficient.
Yeah.
It's like, it's crazy.
Yeah.
That's why babies can learn fucking multiple languages, but it'll take so much longer.
Yeah.
Or even like you're talking about kids classes, how quickly kids pick up on techniques and stuff like that. It's because it's so fresh and new, you know, there's no foundation yet. So it's like,
it's 100% true, dude. Like, I tell them that stuff all the time. Like all the guys that are like started out there, I'll be like, bro, you guys have the potential to be better than all these guys that transplanted from other places.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because they're going to learn so slowly now, and you guys are just going to rocket ship up. You know what I mean?
Take advantage.
Yeah. I do have a brown belt, though, that came from Alliance. He was like Alliance HQ's top guy. And he trains with us full time, and he's like the opposite of that, though. He's like learning it quick, dude.
Yeah.
Like,
soaking it up like a sponge, huh?
Who is that?
Yeah. Ryan Aiken.
Okay, I was about to say, I was going to ask you if that was Ryan, because he's a murderer, dude.
Bro, Ryan's serious, dude.
Yeah.
So serious. Like, Ryan fought Andre Porfirio from Fight Sports in IBJJF like 4 times, and he lost to him every single time. And Ryan fought him again. He was going to fight him sub only after he'd been training us for about 7 or 8 months. He got all nervous, and she's like, man, I'm about to fight Porfirio. Porfirio's beaten me like 4 times, dude. Subbed me, beat me on points, fuck. And I was like, all right, Ryan, so here's what we're going to do. And we just worked like a handful of things that like would be like super anti-Andre Porfirio. And dude, Andre, they fought for 10 minutes. Ryan beat him. Andre didn't have offense in 10 minutes. There's a guy who's beaten him 4 times. This guy didn't have offense in 4 minutes, right? Like the end of the match is literally the guy on his feet running from Ryan on Ryan's feet. Yeah, like literally. And like Ryan doesn't wrestle or anything. And like that's how the match went, because Ryan just like was like, all right, cool, I'm here to learn jiu-jitsu, and he just got better. You know what I mean? So then I have other guys that it's like they'll lose 4 matches the exact same way, and I've told them like, you know, 100 times what they could do to get better there, and they're just still making the same mistake because they learned somewhere else or whatever. You know what I mean?
Right.
We had another brown belt that was like that, like literally, like never got better at jiu-jitsu. He was with us for a year. I rolled with him. I would just start the same way and do the same 4 moves and tap him, and would do it over and over and over for 5 minutes. I could do it every single day if I wanted to. You know what I mean? Like, he never got better at jiu-jitsu. There was like a running joke, like with the upper belts. I'd be like, bro, he's just not gonna. Yeah. He's not gonna get better.
You're like, that's his top. That's it.
This is it for him. He's
leveled
done.
out. Yeah.
And he would come to class. He would pay attention. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You'd see him show interest in new techniques, but when you roll with him, right back to the same old.
That is a problem with a lot of people. Like, if you're not actively trying or risking new moves, like, why not do it in the training room? You know, like that's the lab.
Place.
That's the
place to do
the
it.
workshop. Like, my game changes all the time. Like, but you are rolling with people that you're like, I know what he's gonna do. He's gonna go for this grip.
Yeah.
And then you can actively beat that, just like you were saying, over and over and over again, and they still won't change. And you're like,
why?
Yeah, hey man, I'm gonna do this when you grab here.
Yeah.
So
you start off by
don't
saying,
do that.
this is what I'm gonna do.
Yeah.
Now you figure it out. Yeah.
Damn. So that brings you to today, essentially, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you're just like running things. Like I just saw
running it.
Yeah, I just saw Ryan and Chase like basically subbed everybody and then into the final in their last tournament, or I guess not their last one.
No, it wasn't their last one, but they got invited out to Cali for this submission only series tournament.
Yeah,
and it's a really good tournament. It's like not as well known right now because they're actually trying to build it up from the ground, like production wise, and put it on like a whole new like streaming service and the whole nine. So they're not like going like the let's get on Flow, let's go on UFC Fight Pass route. But the level of talent in the room is insane. So like they're in San Diego and they're in Southern California, like lower Los Angeles, like Southern Los Angeles, not like quite San Diego. But they have like in the room that day it was like Atos HQ guys were there.
Yeah.
You know, like some of the top 10 Planet guys are there. You got like the Freak guys are there. You know what I mean? So like man, like we're chilling and it's like. Kanan Duarte's there, Lucas Barbosa's there.
Yeah,
like,
I watched some of the videos on it.
Yeah.
It's crazy,
So
right?
Yeah.
Like,
They've got the talent and the foundation to really like blow it the fuck up.
Yes.
yeah, it's the top level.
And what
Yeah.
what is cool to me, like, not that I know Chase super well. I mean, I know him from like tongue in cheek type stuff, but and like Ryan, I don't know at all. But it's cool that like somebody from scratch, like subbed a world-class brown belt,
Yeah.
like from your tutelage, I guess.
yeah.
Like-
Dude, Chase, like, he's so quiet.
He's so
On
quiet, and
social
he looks
media.
like a teddy bear, bro.
Yeah.
Like he looks so like, and
Yeah.
his voice is so high, so it's like he doesn't
Yeah.
seem like he could ever hurt anyone.
Yeah.
Not like in a bad way. He doesn't
Right.
look weak, but it's like he just doesn't seem like he could
Yeah.
do what he
Do that.
does. It's crazy.
Yeah, he's beat, dude, like, the list of names that guy's beaten, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, he's beat Dan Martinez. He's subbed Cody Steele twice. He's beaten Quentin Rosenzweig twice. Like,
Yeah.
he's, like, the list of names the guy's beaten, you know what I mean? And, like, people just have no idea. Hunter Colvin, he triangled Hunter Colvin. Like, he's, you know, but those two got invited to that thing. It was all top level competition. I know that their show will get bigger as it goes, you know, because they're just the level of competition they have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it didn't matter, dude. The two of them started on opposite sides, and they just mowed through everyone. And it was just like, all right, well. And that was at 185.
Yeah.
And Chase at 185 looks like a normal person, but Ryan at 185 looks like an alien. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you're like, this guy didn't make 185.
He looks like somebody that
This guy-
started
oh.
in TikTok and then learned jiu-jitsu. He just ripped, got the hair.
Yeah.
You know, he looks like if Jordan got big on steroids for no reason.
Dude, it's crazy. Dude, he's
No way this guy made 185.
Yeah.
yeah, no, like that. There's no way. Like, he was literally, his first opponent literally came up like here on him. And I
Yeah.
was just like, what the fuck is that? dude? So he's a bit of he's difficult, but yeah, no, they did that, and they've won a bunch of other stuff since then, right? Like the two of them. I don't know what kind of a streak the two of them are on right now, but they literally like have only lost to each other within like probably the last year. So it's like,
dude.
It's insane. Like, I see every post you post, and I'm just like,
That is crazy,
Again.
dude.
yeah, they are again.
Again.
There's more
Again.
money. Like,
yeah, another
Again.
one.
Yeah, Steven, dude,
Another
Steven.
one.
We were talking the other day. I was like, "How much money have you made this year?" He's like, "I don't know, probably more than like $6 or $7 grand, like from tournaments."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "You're a blue belt, bro. Like,
That's
calm
crazy.
down. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
is
do we
awesome,
need to go
man.
outside and fight real quick to make sure you still know what's up, or like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, damn,
I need to pull back on the leash a
Yeah.
little bit.
Dude,
Like, hold
like-
on now.
Whoa.
Chase.
You're
too,
like, Daddy
man.
need to get his beak wet.
Dude, it's crazy. They're making money, but I don't. So I don't ever like touch any of their
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
competition money,
for
right?
sure.
Like when we go out, we do whatever we do. Like I go on these trips with them, I corner them and stuff, but they keep like 100% of whatever
Yeah.
money they make. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Or if they teach seminars or privates, like I don't
Yeah.
ever touch any of that. Like it's hard enough to make money in the sport. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't need somebody like there being like, hey man, like where's my 20% or
Yeah.
whatever. you
Let
know
me
what
get
I'm
in that
saying?
pocket real
Well,
quick.
because you've been in that position, you know, you understand how hard it is to make a
Yeah.
living, quote unquote, in that, environment. So.
Yeah, and the only time where they break off anything is for like if they fight in the. So when Jordan and Steven met in the finals of that tournament, Steven broke off a piece for Jordan, right? Because it's like you got to
Yeah.
do the same shit I had to
Yeah.
do. When when Chase and Ryan met in the finals, they split the money. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
we don't always split it. Sometimes it's just like a little bit here and there. But like, man, Trey ran a tournament here, and Sergio Ardea came down, and Josh beat Sergio in the finals.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Josh gave Sergio money because he was just like, you had to come
That's
all the
wild.
way from
Yeah.
Atlanta. Like, he's not our teammate at all.
Yeah.
And Josh was just like, hey man, here's some money. Like, I know you had to drive from Atlanta. Sergio's like a lawyer. He don't need no money, bro. He's good.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
He's
But it was
good.
still just like,
Yeah, it's like
It's like a respect thing. Kind
Yeah.
it is. So
A
that's the
man and his
only time
word.
that the guys break a piece off is like,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah,
But
that's
these
awesome.
fools will be like, I just won $1,000. Cool. That means I can do like 4 nagas between now and the next. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they'll be like spending their money on that shit. I'm like, bro, nah. You know what I mean? But yeah, that's how we got to where we're at today.
Dude, that's got to be such a cool feeling to see,
Yeah.
you know, the family that you've been working with and like working on, see, you know, get to see them grow in the sport and see all the things they're getting to do, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah,
That's so
what is
fucking awesome.
the next big step, or is there anything coming up that you're like actively working on, or is it just tournaments and building people,
So
or anything you're allowed to speak on?
yeah, no, there's no like down low, like there's no like secret.
You're like, well, I'm in the
like,
CIA
yeah.
now, and I know a little bit about aliens.
Yeah,
Thank you, Eddie.
Oh, dude, let me. I'll answer this. I'll tell you this, and then I got a super funny story.
You're like,
So-
then I gotta really leave quick because they're gonna be
Yeah,
coming.
yeah.
Yeah, dude.
Like,
I
the
know
CIA is
exactly where
listening?
I'm at.
Fucking helicopter.
Turns his phone over.
Yeah. So yeah, next Ryan next month, like a couple weeks, he goes for the CJJ trials. So if you're in 10th Planet, Eddie does a set of trials to get into
Yeah.
EBI or CJJ because everyone obviously wants in, right?
Yeah.
And so he's like, I can't just like, if I put people in, you're all gonna be pissed. As long as it's
Yeah.
not you,
Yeah.
you're gonna be pissed about it. So I'm
Yeah.
gonna do trials, and you guys can just fucking do that.
Hash it
But it's
out.
only for our team though, you know. So
Yeah.
Ryan's doing the trials for CJJ, and it's a 185 CJJ. So like, it should be illegal for him to compete in 185
Yeah.
CJJ. So he's gonna do that. He's actually had 4 MMA fights. He fought Quentin Rosenzweig in an MMA fight and just beat the snot out of him. It was terrible. So that dude's rough. Ryan's rough. It's bad. So
It's bad.
It's really bad. So he's gonna do that, and then if he wins, he'll go to CJJ, which is in October.
Yeah.
The same weekend as CJJ, Chase is doing the BJJ Fanatics $10,000 tournament in San Diego
He did that a
So-
few years ago, and he
Yeah.
went to the final with.
with Kyle Bame.
Yeah, and Kyle went on to do. I mean, he was already doing big things, but you know,
Chase should have beaten him that day though.
Yeah.
he had him in trouble. Chase should have beaten him that day.
I watched.
It is what it is, but Chase also beat some good names. He beat Cody Steele that day.
Yeah.
So some good names, but
It was a good tournament.
yeah. So they invited him. So if Ryan wins the trials, then we'll fly to San Diego on Friday. Chase will compete on Saturday, and then Chase and I'll get on a plane and fly to Mexico for Ryan on Sunday. So it's just that's chaos, dude. It's chaos. So that's
Goodness
that.
gracious.
Within the next week, I guess I'm gonna be filming and finishing my first DVD for BJJ Fanatics. So that's sick, dude. That'll be like a good one.
That's dope.
That is awesome.
What are you? What is it? Obviously, I assume leg lock stuff, or is
I
that
can't talk about it? Dude.
Oh,
no, I'm
word,
just
word.
kidding. I can talk about it. It's outside heel hooks, dude. It's
Okay,
sick.
okay.
Yeah. It's the only outside heel hooks DVD they have.
I mean, I'm just saying, I don't have a heel hook DVD. If you
he's,
wanna, you know what I'm saying. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
it's
He's not kidding.
So we haven't filmed it. I've been writing it for a month.
Yeah.
So the process to create one of those DVDs, if you care to do it like well, is pretty like extensive.
Yeah, I
Oh,
assume.
sure, dude.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like they want a lot. Like you have to like have it written out, everything, how they're gonna like chop it up.
Yeah.
You know, because they do all that shit, and then you can fly to them and film it there, or you can film it like in your own space. But I have like a professional film guy like at my gym, so I'm just like, yeah, like
We'll just do it here. Yeah.
Yeah.
film it. Yeah, like
Word.
it'll be comfortable, you know.
Yeah.
We'll do it
That'd
like
be
key lights
cool.
and shit. Like we're not gonna do it like in that. Like I don't know if you guys have seen it before, but the BJJ Fanatics thing is like literally a studio. It's not
Yeah.
a gym. So they're like, oh, it's at this.
It's just a
gym.
corner. It's like
Yeah,
this, but
it's-
mats. I've seen
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's also changed a lot over the years because I have an old Tom DeBlas DVD, and it looks much different than it does now.
Yeah, dude. It's just a little studio with
Yeah.
a camera, and it's like a handy cam on a tripod. And the guy just sits there and goes, "All right, go," and then you just go. And I'm like, "Nah, we can do it." A little,
Yeah.
You know, so anyway, so I'm gonna film that. Should be done like in the next week or so, and then like I said, in September they go and do that. Chase do that. So from here on out, next year EBI comes back.
Word.
For real.
Dope.
Yeah, that's like.
Do you know the weight class on that, or is that like
they haven't
not
scheduled an
decided?
event?
Okay.
It's just the word is that it's coming back next year, and that's what Eddie said. So Eddie's always said EBI would come back. You know what I mean? But we never really.
I love
knew.
EBI, dude.
It's so good, right?
That was like the first thing that really got me hooked in no-gi stuff, because like as I was getting in jiu-jitsu, like obviously worlds and stuff you could watch, but nothing other than ADCC was like super big on no-gi.
Right.
Other than like worlds and no-gi, and it's like it's not as exciting.
Right.
You know?
Eddie makes it like a show, you know?
Yeah, there was something to the magic of it. And now you can watch like the documentaries on like the first couple, and like his documentary on Flow Grappling, the Building an Empire. It's like you get to really see, I mean, you know him personally, but like we don't, so you get to see like kind of beyond the veil, dude. And it's sick.
Eddie's a man, dude. Like the development of EBI was interesting. Like the different, like, CJJ was around before the EBI format. You know, it was always the goal to make it CJJ, but Eddie just didn't like anticipate like the jiu-jitsu community not really being into it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the outside community is into it. The numbers for CJJ versus EBI are 2-1. CJJ is way more popular.
Really?
But within jiu-jitsu, people are like, they don't care. You know, they're like, I don't know. I'm going to watch EBI, you know?
Yeah.
And so I think Eddie just did it. EBI was supposed to be a stepping stone, and I don't think he realized what he had. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and now he's like going, fuck, we have to bring EBI back. But the UFC Fight Pass guys are like,
yeah.
I don't know. This other thing's better. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So something else I've been curious about is, do you have anybody going for ADCC next year, like doing trials or anything?
So I have like 10 dudes doing the trials.
Dude, it's gonna be so good.
It's gonna be crazy, dude.
I watched you
Holy
and Chase
shit.
last year, or what fucking year is it? 2021 now.
Yeah.
So when was the trials? Like 2018?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah,
2018 maybe.
that was so cool because I like obviously I don't know a lot of jiu-jitsu practitioners like across the world, but to see like people
Oh yeah, dude.
you're like, oh
For
fuck.
sure.
Yeah, it's
sure.
sick. It's sick, dude. Yeah, the trials are gonna be sick. We have a camp. It starts like in 2 weeks or in like a week. You know what I mean? And like all like the big name guys from Atlanta that are doing it are coming like to the gym. We're all gonna like work together. You know?
Hell yeah, dude.
So we're gonna try to like kind of push Southeastern Jiu-Jitsu up. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Gosh, dude, I can't even imagine the environment with having all those people in one place.
Give it a few more years. Like if we don't do big things like this coming one,
Yeah. A couple more years.
bro.
Couple
dude,
more
I'm
years,
saying we're about to
Yeah.
pop. We're just going straight up, dude.
It's gonna be nuts, dude. And like that was like one of my big goals when I went to Atlanta was to try to unite like the guys there because there's a lot of politics.
Yeah.
And so I was like, well, I don't have any politics, so everybody come train with me.
Yeah.
And now, like, dude, it's crazy. Like, Ryan was the best guy from Alliance. There's this guy, Muhammad, that's the best guy from Travin. Travin and Alliance is no go. You know what I'm saying? Like, hella beef. So, like, it's like hands on sight type beef. Like, they're not cool. And Ryan and Muhammad are like, they're two, like, poster boys. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Dude, Ryan and Muhammad train at my gym, like, every day together. And it's just like,
It's like Romeo and Juliet type shit. It's like, hey, we're not supposed to be cool with it,
But
you know?
this shit's tight though.
Yeah, and so it's just like, dude, like the things that could have been happening the entire time, though. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's all getting chopped up because of the politics.
Yeah, it's fucking up the growth.
It's amazing, dude. It's amazing. And so, like, there's still a few little fringe teams that are like, we don't cross train, you know, we do our own thing.
Yeah.
They're going to do their own little ADCC trials camp and their own little thing by themselves. Cool, man. Do whatever you want.
Yeah.
That's what's up. But we're all going to be over here.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Just holler if you feel me, dog.
That's it. If y'all want to come, just peace out.
Pull
whatever.
up, my guy.
We don't have to take pictures or nothing, dude. Like, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, the story I was telling you guys, the funny thing, EBI Eddie and the CIA thing or whatever, dude. Like, so Eddie is ultra like weird about like the Freemasons thing, right? Like he's ultra like, okay, these guys are Illuminati, whatever. Like that's probably one of his biggest like, at least vocally, at least like from my knowledge, one of his biggest like conspiracy theory like beliefs is in like the New World Order sort of Illuminati type.
Yeah.
Right? So anything that branches off of that, he's like involved.
He's
you know what I'm
about it,
saying?
yeah.
So like the whole Freemason thing is like big for him. And so there are a couple guys that are in 10th Planet that are black belts that are Freemasons. Eddie had no idea. And so one of those dudes was like my good homie. And the backstory is insane. How it's all super coincidental, but it all lines up perfectly, right? So like Eddie,
which makes Eddie go, hold on now.
Dude, there's no coincidence with Eddie.
Oh,
No,
100%.
It's all designed. So
Yeah.
So Eddie's such a fool, bro. Like my buddy Adelaide, he's from Detroit. He's the one that was a Freemason. That's like my good buddy, right? The other guy that's a Freemason is from Canada, and I don't know him super well. He's a nice dude. I haven't spent much time with him. So basically, Adelaide was like, dude, Eddie doesn't know I'm a Freemason. And I was like, you're a Freemason? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, So like, what's up, dude?
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
are you
yeah.
guys like fucking? Are
What's
you
up?
like a reptilian, dude, or like
Yeah,
what's
yeah.
the deal?
Where y'all from?
And he's just like, it's like a frat, dude. He's like, it's nothing like what people think. It's just like a frat, dude. Like you just go there and like it's all these like rich people from the community, and they're all like playing pretend that they can control like the community. You know what I mean? He's like, sometimes it works out. Sometimes it's don't support this new business that's coming into town, and they run someone out of town. But for the most part, it's all bullshit. It's just a bunch of old dudes talking about how they run shit when they don't run anything. You know what I mean? And so he was just like, yeah, like that's pretty much what it is. I'm like, all right, cool. He's like, but all the little bullshit you hear about it is real as fuck. So like all the the robes and the little things that they do, and like the little handshakes and codes and shit they have, that's all real as fuck. Every bit of that. And so he's like, yeah, dude. Like, so I think I'm gonna like kind of like play this game with Eddie where I start like asking him like the code signals and shit, like, hey man, does the dog walk, or like shit like that, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Eddie's gonna be like, you know what I mean?
He's like, this one of your
tripping,
guys?
tripping,
Who's this guy?
dude? Well, he's known Adelaide forever and loves Adelaide. Eddie's a black belt, white to black belt under Eddie,
Dude,
and was a brown belt under the Machados as well.
Holy
So-
Dude, it'd be funny as fuck if he had his robe, but he like put a water ball. And he's like, Eddie, can you grab me that? It's by the robe thing.
Yeah, he like
so this
puts
is like
it
real
somewhere.
close to what we actually
Yeah,
do.
like
So
puts
we-
it in his car or something.
Dude,
Like
we start coming up with this like master plan. Like we're gonna prank Eddie with this Freemason shit. We gotta do it, right? So I'm at Adelaide's house in like Detroit, right? And I'm like going around. He's like, all right, so like in here in this little room this is where all my Freemason shit is, like the pictures and stuff, you know?
Wow.
He's like, dude, he's like, you should like videotape some of this or picture it and like start sending it to Eddie. Be like, look, dude, I'm at Adelaide's house. Like, what the fuck is
What's
this?
going
You
on?
know
He's
what I
in
mean?
deep.
Yeah.
Yo. And so
What
I
does
do.
this mean?
So I'm like, all right, dude. So I start taking pictures of like his shit, and I'm like, Eddie. Like it was like a ring in a box. It was like a box with a little ring, you know? And so I opened it up, I took a picture, I sent it to Eddie. I was like, yo, dude, I'm at Adelaide's house right now. Look what I just found. And Eddie's like,
Can you talk?
wait, why does he have that? And I was like, I don't know, dude. And then like I'm like, take a picture of the picture. Wait, I just found this too. It's a picture of them all in their robes and shit. And Eddie was like,
get out of there now.
Eddie was like, bro, like what else is in there? You know what I mean? And I was like, bro, he's like a whole room. You know what I mean? So I took a picture of like the room, and then like I like edited like to put little circles around like all the Freemason shit or whatever. And I sent it to him, and I was like, bro, he's been like saying weird shit to me, bro. He was saying like, does the dog walk and all this other shit? You know what I'm saying? And Eddie was just like, bro, this is fucked. This is fucked, dude. I love Adelaide. And I was just like, yeah, it's fucked up, dude, for real. And then I was like, but you've known Adelaide for years. So if anything was going on, and he's just like, yeah, no, I have known him for years. I was like, how did he get into 10th Planet? So there's a backstory for how he got into 10th Planet. He was on a plane going from Detroit to LA. He has cancer, has brain cancer, right? He was going to see his doctor. And he was training with the Machados in LA. When he would go to see his doctor, he would go train with them.
Yeah.
And so he's sitting next to this guy on the plane, and he notices like some jiu-jitsu stuff or whatever. And he's like, dude, what, what's up? And he's like, yeah, I train jiu-jitsu. I train with Eddie Bravo. And he was like, who's that? And he's like, this is way back, dude. And so he's telling him about Eddie. And he's like, yeah, he's one of John Jock's black belts, bro. Like, you train over there? And he's like, all right, I'm going to stop by. And that was Adelaide's introduction to 10th Planet, was through Stu. And Stu is also a Freemason. And so like the layers, and like I'm like, I'm
This sounds written.
I'm
Bro,
trying to
this
like
is fake
I'm
for
trying to
sure.
like lead Eddie on, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm like, yo, so like what, how did he get into 10th Planet? And Eddie's like, oh, I don't know, dude, like, he just came by the gym like back in the day. I was like, well, who brought him in?
Yeah.
And he was like, I don't know, man. I was like, well, he's got a lot of pictures with Stu. And Eddie was like, oh shit, dude, he did come in with Stu. And I'm like,
Oh fuck.
Oh my god,
bro,
dude.
I was like, so what about this? And like I sent him a picture of him and Stu like in their robes. And he was like, bro, he was like, what the fuck's going on, man? What the fuck's going on? So then we have like a seminar at my gym, and Adelaide's there, and Eddie's seminar at my gym, and Adelaide's there. And Adelaide's like full tilt, like asking him all the questions, doing all the bullshit to him. And Eddie's just like, look, bro. He's like, I don't know what's going on. Like, he's just tripping, dude. Eddie's tripping. And then eventually we have to like come out and tell him what's going on or whatever. But watching Eddie just be kind of like,
you need to watch that guy.
God,
dude, I'm going to get fucking scooped up or some shit, dude. Just watching the wheels turn, you know what I mean?
Dude, y'all should have got like 5 or 6 friends to come in robes and stand outside the front door and just been like, we need to speak to Eddie.
Dude, it's
that'd have been funny.
And the backstory is fucking wild too.
Dude, it was insane.
Like, it's like too perfect.
Yeah. It was pretty solid. It was like one of those pranks you play on somebody where there's not gonna be like a lot of like interaction there, where you're not gonna see them like tripping.
Yeah.
But I know for a fact this fool was at his house in Los Angeles, just like
fucking wheels turning.
Yo, dude, it was so fun. It was like the one time because Eddie's like a ultra like prankster.
Yeah.
Like hella prankster. Like he'll do anything. It's crazy. Like, and so like it's like one of the first times
you could like,
I've ever seen an opening to get him on anything.
That's awesome.
You know what I mean?
That's fucking awesome.
Dude, the way it all lined up. So yeah, no, like the CIA thing is funny. It's funny to think about stuff like that because we got Eddie with that fucking Freemason thing.
God damn, dude.
Damn. What, do you have anything coming up?
I
mean, other than those things, ADCC trials.
Yeah, I'm gonna do the trials. You know, of course, Chase, Ryan.
Yeah.
You know, Kevin, Muhammad. They got a list of guys. We're all doing it. But other than that, dude, I'm filming that DVD. To be honest with you, man, I don't know how much competition I can really do. Not because of my body or anything, but just because, like, literally, I'm somewhere every weekend cornering my guys every weekend. Like, at first, it was like a lot of seminars, and it's like I can just tell people no.
Yeah.
But
you might want to go answer that. But you want to shout out anything?
You're good, bro. Yeah, dude. Shout out to the 10th Planet homies.
Yeah.
Shout out to the squad, dude. Shout out to you know, Kakudo and Byron and the guys in Atlanta for making it happen. Phalanx, Datsusara, Savage Soap, like all the people that sponsor me. You know what I mean? Like Assassins, my homie Dylan's company is like doing good. You know.
Yeah, that's dope, dude.
Yeah, man. Shout out to all the homies that believe in the cause, dude.
Yeah. Nothing but good vibes from you guys. Like, that's why, like, obviously I'm not a part of your gym, but I love having your guys on because everybody's so real. The vibes are so easy to deal with. Like, the conversation's so good. Always a good experience with y'all. And, like, I appreciate, like, only been to, like, one of your seminars and the history of them or whatnot, but, like, every time we come in contact, it's always just good vibes. But I just wanted to, like, thank you for coming on. Like, this is a big deal. It may not seem like a big deal because you're you, but we are us.
Yeah.
So, like, this is a big deal to me because I, like, in jiu-jitsu, you're somebody I look up to. Like, whether or not I'll ever be under you or anything like that, I'll always, like, look up to you and, like, how you perform and how you, like, act in jiu-jitsu is, like, somebody I kind of, like, mirror myself as far as how I behave, you know?
Sure, man. Well, I appreciate all that, dude. And, like, to be honest, man, like, that's all, like, all that stuff is just, like, you know, we're out here in the community and people are watching. It's just about, like, setting, like, examples that, like, inspire people to want to train jiu-jitsu and be a part of jiu-jitsu. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's the biggest disappointment in all of jiu-jitsu is, like, when you see these guys, they don't really realize, like, it's not really about being a role model or anything, you know? It's not really being about, like how perfect I am all the time.
Yeah.
It's just about not doing shit that makes people not want to do jiu-jitsu. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Being toxic, being weird, being fucking crazy. You know what I mean? Like I know that some of my guys are like hella like Josh is like hella like hot, dude. Like, so like people fuck up, Josh will be like ready to fight somebody. You know what I'm saying? He's nuts. But
dude, I know.
But with that being said, Josh will never like do anything that's gonna make you like question whether you should do jiu-jitsu or not.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you're never gonna have an interaction with him and be like, jiu-jitsu is not for me, bro. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If anything, like, and you know, if he sees something happen, like, man, it doesn't even really matter who you are. If he sees some shit go down, like, Josh will be like the first dude to like have your back. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's just that kind of guy. But that's the goal. It's not about being perfect or politically correct, dude. It's literally just about like doing things that make people want to be involved in the sport. You know what I mean?
I just recently, and I know this is like not somebody to look up to for wisdom per se, but Shaq on a podcast just said, like somebody was like, dude, you're like a role model to so many people. And he's like, I don't believe in role model. I believe in real model. And it's like, dude, I fuck up all the time. But it's like, I'm actively trying to learn every day.
Yeah.
So like, I don't want you to base your life off me, but like learn from my mistakes.
Yeah.
And I was like, damn, that's a real, like, that's Shaq.
I had a math teacher in middle school who always used to say,
you're bad at math.
First off of that, but she says, learn from other people's mistakes because you don't have the time to make your own, which is one thing that I've carried through. Yeah. I mean, even though I'm still pretty young, but in any kind of career I've ever had, it's like, or even life, it's just like, yeah, dude, we're not here for long, so figure that shit out.
Yeah, it's massive.
Yeah.
It's massive, dude. It's massive.
So,
how many hands on one job, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you have one problem and you have one guy trying to solve it, who knows how long it'll take? If you have 10 guys, faster, 20 guys, 100 guys, whatever, right?
Oh, yeah.
So that's what you do, bro. That's what you do. Secret to success in jiu-jitsu as well, you know? If everybody's working on the same techniques, how many guys you have working on it, you know?
Yeah.
That's why you share your jiu-jitsu. People are like, oh, I got to keep my shit. And it's like,
Yeah.
nah, dude, it's going to suck in 5 years.
Yeah.
You got to share that with people so that it doesn't suck in 5 years. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Keep growing.
That's it.
All right, dude. Hell yeah. Well, bro, thank you so much for coming on, man. Seriously, dude. That was so sick.
Awesome.
Hell yeah. Yeah, thank you. Again, thank you guys for watching. We appreciate it. Thank you guys for listening. We love you so much. We're going to get the fuck up out of here. Yee, yee, yee.